It's time for High School Football, presented by TISD and Cox Communications of Tyler. Brought to you by Dairy Queen and Supercuts. Also brought to you by these sponsors. Get ready, high school football is just ahead.
Okay, we'd like you to try 2 frozen lattes. One is from a national chain of coffee shops, and the other is new from Dairy Queen.
This one's fantastic.
Looks like you chose the new DQ Latte. Great. Okay, you can give it back now.
Test is over. Let it go.
The new DQ Mulate Frozen Blended Coffee, made with creamy DQ soft serve in 3 tempting flavors. Grab one and DQ something different.
Likes it a lot.
Education is a priority in Tyler. With new growth and increasing student enrollment, the Tyler Independent School District studied the condition of its facilities. Focusing on the most critical needs first, the district's Board of Trustees voted unanimously to call for a bond election for a portion of these needs. The election affecting the children of Tyler is November 2nd. Visit www.tylerisd.org and click on Bond 2004 or call 903-262-1064.
We're down on the field now, Trinity Mother Frances Rose Stadium. Referee Gene Malloy, the Tyler Lone Star chapter. Craig Smoke with the wireless mic.
We got a silver dollar here. That's the tails. That's the head. That's the head. And that's the tail. Visit, you call in there, please. And here's the head. He's the one that told. You're going to defend the clock. Okay. Put your back over there, please.
All right, John Tyler has won the toss. They will receive from the west side of the end zone, the fieldhouse side, and Robert E. Lee will kick off from the east side, which is the scoreboard side. The Tyler Lone Star chapter tonight, referee is a good friend of mine and a pretty good golfer, a sandbagger in Gene Malloy. The umpire is Brad Yates. Head linesman is W.P. Rip Drumgool. The line judge is Mike Peak, and the back judge, 40 years as an official, Milburn Cheney. He's officiated games at Texas Stadium, Kyle Field, the Astrodome, also the Cotton Bowl, and is one of the few officials who's also been a part of the Texas High School Coaches Association All-Star game that happens every summer. His son, Darren, contacted me many weeks ago, Randy, and he said, hey, would you mind giving my dad a plug? 40 years of having people chew on you, he deserves a plug. All right, coming up next, we'll give you the starting lineup right here on KTBB and ESPN Radio.
To see this sign on your house, put this sign out front. Century 21 Advantage. Call or visit our website.
Men, I think our racing team needs to reflect our Supercut sponsorship. So, make some changes. First off, we're going to go to clear helmets so racing fans can see your fine Supercut hair.
Those are made out of glass.
Y'all be careful. Second, uniform change.
How are we supposed to drive? There's no armholes.
I haven't figured that one out yet, but we're working on that.
Man, I'm out of here.
Fellas,
You're out of your mind. That's not
where you going?
Supercuts, proud sponsor of Fitz Bradshaw Racing.
Can you drive a stick?
I'm Aura Taylor, and I've been with TISD for more than 3 decades, and you're watching TISD Football on Cox Communications.
Antoine Bush, the senior quarterback, 5'11", 165. In his career, has thrown for nearly 1,400 yards. Struggled quite a bit this year. Just 18 of 53 passing, 4 picks, 1 touchdown, 216 yards. He's also caught a few passes as they've tried to find a way to get him the ball on other occasions. The fullback tonight, Neil Williams, the 5'10 sophomore, has 10 yards on 3 carries. And here's a young man that is a star in the making, Kendall Hunter. 5'8", 160-pound sophomore has rushed for 753 yards and 3 touchdowns this year, including 138 against Mesquite Horn last week. The receivers, Charles Arps, the junior, and Krishad Brown, the senior, along with times we'll see Kerry Maddox and Roderick Taylor. We'll also see a lot of middle linebacker Torrey Irvin at fullback. Up front, Chris Allen, the left tackle, 205 senior. We'll also see a little bit of Willie Howard, who's 300 pounds. Left guard, Chris Burns, the junior, 5'10", 195, who also plays both ways. Back from being out last week, A.J. Johnson, Adrian Johnson, 6'2", 275 junior. Devarier Jackson, a 6'1", 260 senior right guard. DeMontrell Miller, 6'4", 225 senior at right tackle. And Alfie Fraxton and Jonathan Arsenault switch out at tight ends. Fraxton has 2 catches this year for 63 yards. He's a 5'9", 160 senior. And the soccer star himself, Micah Johnson, the starting corner, who has the only 2 interceptions for Lee this year, kicks off. Line drive kick. Kendall Hunter picks it up at the 2. Looks for a wall at the 10, gets out close to the 20-yard line. Lee up front defensively, Ricky Sherfield and Cordero Mumphrey. And there's a flag down on the near side of the field, and it could be against Lee. In fact, on both sides, they have been offsides consistently this year on kickoff coverage. And they did it again tonight. They've had a lot of penalties. This team, as we've talked about many times, has had a lot of hanky-panky, I guess you could say, a lot of laundry, and this is going to force them to kick off again. Gives us a little time to talk about their defense. It's Ricky Sherfield and senior Cordero Mumphrey at the defensive tackle or defensive ends position. I told Cordero, I said, Cordero, I come in here once in a while and you never give me enough love, and he gave me a big old hug. The number 19, the senior. A lot of these good kids on both sides of the field. Great kids. Antoine Bush, I've talked about him many times. Defensive tackle Jacoby McKenzie, the junior. Linebackers Dominique Van Zant, Warren DeHaven in the middle, and Cole Skates, all seniors. Cornerbacks are Quentin Nicholson, a junior, Micah Johnson, the senior. Safeties are Lance Heapman starting again tonight, and Eric Ajiki, the senior, and Jason Stripling is the Rover Bandit, the senior. This is JT Fields. This kickoff at the 10, out to the 20, so a difference of about the 5 yards on the kick offsides call, and Cordero Mumphrey is on the stop for Robert E. Lee. Lee wearing red with white numbers, some black trim. JT with white with gray, kind of silver gray pants and the blue numbers and the blue hats. And there's a player down early for the JT Lions, and we hope he's okay, as they've had a lot of problems, as we've mentioned, with the injuries.
Lee comes downfield, very responsive on the kickoff, David. Add in Takari and Cuba as well in on the stop as they bring down the Lion returner, Hunter, at the 24.
Other games tonight in 12-5A include against Mesquite Horn at Hanby, and also last night North Mesquite beat Rockwall 21-7. JT will set up with 2 receivers split. Tight end on the left side is number 30, Alfie Fraction, straight eye. Antoine Bush will take the snap. Play action pass, rolls to the near side, man open, caught at the 30 for a gain of about 6 yards. Very well designed play, and fullback that time, Torrey Irvin, not Neil Williams, and JT with play action gets 6 yards, and a lot of people were trying to figure out where Kendall Hunter was, the tailback.
Well, they do a great job of protecting the quarterback to the lines up front with Burns and Johnson and Jackson straight up in the middle, keeping off the fierce rush from Robert E. Lee.
You should see a lot of different wrinkles offensively for JT in this game as they try to find a spark. 2nd down and 4 from their 30. Handoff to Kendall Hunter. He's hit in the backfield by Cordero Mumphrey, the defensive end, and they lose 4 yards in the play to bring up 3rd down and 8.
Mumphrey just waxes through DeMontrell Miller, slices back inside, and as soon as Hunter gets the ball, he's met in the backfield.
Lee is the home team, although I always tend to say that's kind of silly. They're on the home side of the field. This is a home game for both teams. It's 3rd down and 8, and JT, after a nice play to Torrey Irvin, faces 3rd and long, and on 3rd downs this year, they're converting just 1 out of every 4 3rd down opportunities or possibilities. Antoine Bush takes the drop sideline pass, and he had a man open, fraction the tight end at the 30, but he got turned around. Also in on the pressure that time is Ricky Sherfield. It's 4th down.
Well, with all the newness that John Tyler has offensively and defensively, and with all the injuries they've had, it's really tough to be getting down a timing sequence for the quarterback, and that's pretty much what happened on the 3rd down play, as it was just thrown a little bit behind the receiver who slipped down on the turf.
Terrence Garman, one of their better athletes, has missed a lot of time this year as far as a position player, averaging, though, 33.2 yards per punt. Back is Tony Bush. Lee with pressure and a very nice punt by Terrence. Bush from his 36, and he fumbles the football, and JT is going to take this for the touchdown. Kerry Maddox, this should be a muff. It will not be a touchdown, but John Tyler recovers the muff at about the Lee 30-yard line. Maybe inside the 30, and that's the kind of break that Kelvin Ratliff and his team has rarely had, and Tony Bush has struggled on a couple of punt returns. Remember the Lufkin game, and that is a huge turnover for John Tyler. Tony Bush fumbles it. It's picked up and run back for a touchdown by Kerry Maddox. But it's a muff, and so JT will get the ball at where the point of the recovery is. On a punt return fumble, you cannot return it for a touchdown. It's a muff.
Oh, that's true. And, you know, like we saw with Bush, that's really what turned the Lufkin game around, was his miscue in handling a punt a few weeks back earlier in the season. And that time he just appears to take his eye off the ball and want to run up the field, and he can't get a grasp of it. Actually, it was around the 30, but as you mentioned, the 33-yard line. John Tyler gets their first break of the game, and a big one.
They have not had many breaks like that. They've had a lot against them. And again, for those listening to the game on either side, on a punt return like that, you cannot pick up the fumble if it's a muff on the initial catch of the punt. And that's why they've marked the ball at where it happened, at the Lee 33, and all of a sudden Mike Owens and his staff have a little heartburn here early on, just a minute and 11 seconds into the first quarter. Now Antoine Bush does not have enough people on the field, so after the big break, JT has to waste a timeout. We'll take one with him. No score early. JT and Lee, 1 minute on KTBB.
Car shopping can be stressful. With all the clutter out there, it's hard to tell what to buy. But at Jim Lozier's Fire Station Auto Center, we believe that the simplest way is the best way. So we offer a large selection of quality pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs, priced to sell with no hassles. Each vehicle has been through a 20-point inspection for quality assurance. You can shop in comfort under the awnings and check out our newly expanded lot with more inventory than ever before. Jim Lozier's Fire Station Auto Center on the corner of Glenwood and Vine and Tyler.
In the game of life, there are no timeouts, only time wasted. The path you choose now determines your future. But where can you go to find a sense of purpose? There is a place where team spirit steps off the field and into the classroom, where no victory goes unnoticed, and there's no such thing as wasted time. That place is Tyler Junior College, living life in color, never black and white. Come to Tyler Junior College. We're changing the game. We're changing lives.
So John Tyler gets a big break early in this game, and great coverage, by the way, for JT that also may have forced Tony Bush to take his eye off the football. Kerry Maddox, a big recovery. 1st and 10 at the Lee 33, straight eye formation. Antoine Bush to the fullback Irvin for 2 or 3, and just inside the Lee 30, give him 4 yards. Warren DeHaven, the senior, with 35 tackles this year. and Dominique Van Zant, the senior outside linebacker, on the stop at 2nd down and 6.
Well, this is really a must opportunity for John Tyler to take advantage of the turnover. They have a golden opportunity now, and let's see if Lee can respond and get John Tyler off the field rather quickly with their defense.
10:20 to go, first quarter. JT at the Lee 29-yard line after the great punt by Terrence Garman and the turnover. Irvin goes back into the straight eye. Now in motion near side, Kendall Hunter. Hit from behind by Cordero Mumphrey again. Cole Skates was there as well, along with many others. Jacoby McKenzie, the tackle. And that time he just had no room to run. Lost a half a yard, 3rd down and 7.
And the red shirts pursue so well for Robert E. Lee. At times they are really overpowering. And we saw that in that play as 3 or 4 red shirts are there to meet Hunter just after he gets the football. And John Tyler's offensive line, it's incumbent upon them to open some kind of hole for Kendall Hunter because he has fantastic speed.
66, Gabriel Lacey, the senior defensive tackle, as Lee rotates about 4 or 5 names there. 3rd and 7, John Tyler at the Lee 30. Antoine Bush, 3-step drop, rolls to his left, now throws man open, caught first down at the 20. What a throw by Antoine Bush, and caught by Charles Art. First down, John Tyler at the Lee 20 and a gain of 10 yards.
Well, Bush does a great job of improvising as he rolls out to the far side and waits patiently and finds his receiver who breaks free at the 20, right in between 2 red shirts for a big first down.
Quentin Nicholson on coverage, the junior, 5'10", 160 corner, but JT gets the turnover and a 3rd down conversion, and they are knocking at the lead door at the 20-yard line. It is Arps to the near side. In motion now this way is Rashad Brown. Fullback Irvin, flags come down. Not sure if there was movement early, but it looked like Chris Burns, the left guard, might have jumped early. And those are the same problems we've talked about Lee's penalties. JT is also self-destructed at times with turnovers, fumbles, and a lot of pre-snap penalties as well.
Well, you can add that. That's really due to a lot of the attrition they've had. And we're not going to harp on this much tonight, but they've really got to focus. And with your inexperienced players that are in the ball game, it's a great opportunity for them now. And John Tyler really needs to watch that kind of turnover.
9:05 to go, opening quarter. JT with the ball at the 25 now on 1st down and 15. That was a nice job by Antoine to bide himself some time and then find Arp for the first down. Tight end near side, man in motion. Brown straight on. Left hash mark. Bush runs the option, nowhere to go. Cole Skates wraps him up for a loss of a yard. Lee getting a lot of penetration, Randy, early on when it has not been Torrey Irvin involved, and he lost a yard. It's now 2nd down and 16.
Well, a lot of that is the Lee defensive setup in their scheme. With only 3 down linemen, they have 4 backers standing up essentially, and they're able to read the play as it's coming along down the line of scrimmage, and they do a great job there as Stripling is in on the tackle as well.
8:22 to go, first quarter. Lee has been a team that has jumped on people when they've had even wins or losses this year. So the offense has not yet taken a snap as Antoine Bush, the senior who's been through so much since his sophomore year starting here, and JT tries to get his team in the end zone. Brown near side, Arps far side. 2nd down, 16. Bush, flare pattern out to Hunter, makes Heap miss, but nice job by Cole Skates to knock him down for no gain. Lance Heap, the senior safety, started in place of Nick Mitchell for the 2nd game, was there initially, and he lost another half yard or 2, and it's 3rd down and long for JT.
It's a fantastic read by Heap from his safety position. He follows the back Hunter out of the backfield and just tracks him down right after the swing pass is completed and meets him for another loss for the Lee defense.
Kendall Hunter is the guy with the bullseye at his back if you're the Lee defense because he's such a great player, but he's had 3 touches for minus 10 yards in the first 4 minutes of this game. Motion, Rashad Brown far side of the left hash mark. JT's Antoine Bush, draw play Kendall Hunter, makes the first mitch down inside the 25, got about 8 of it back. Lance Heap was there to tie him up. Nice call. Down to the lead 20, brings up 4th and 10. They do have the kicker, Ethan Colburn, the sophomore, who has struggled quite a bit with the kicking game. I've talked to Bill Coates on a couple of occasions, and he just has had a lot of problems. But in practice, in warm-ups, Ethan Colburn seems to just do very well. But they're going to bring in Terrence Garman here to kick from about the 27-yard line. Terrence, again, cannot play position because of the shoulder, but he's going to attempt a 37-yard field goal midway through the first quarter. Holding is Roderick Taylor. Snap coming from the 20. Snap, hold, kick block. Jason Stripling has a chance to pick it up for Lee at the 10, 15, out to the 22-yard line. Not sure who got the block. Craig Smoke, did you have a good angle on who may have gotten his hand up?
Yeah, it was a number of Robert Lee players, Ajiki, Lance Heap, Micah Johnson. They were all in the middle and were all able to get a hand on it.
So Lee, despite the fumble from Tony Bush, defensively bends a little bit, but they don't break. Craig Smoke doing our sidelines, of course. Kerry Ainsworth in the booth with us. Producers Justin Brinker. Randy Johnson here with his 9th year doing Lee football, and we've been doing Lee since 1991 on KTBB. And John Tyler, of course, we joined their broadcast 3 years ago. Excited about that as well. Back to throw, Hill in pressure, undershoots John Giles on a little swing pattern, and JT up front. Watch names like H, Coleman, Blackshear, and Burns. Gary H is hard to get a hold of, the senior tackle, but that was Terrence Coleman who put pressure on the backside, and it's 2nd down and 10 Red Raiders.
And you mentioned those names. They're all over the field. And Torrey Irvin seems like he's been playing at JT for about 5 years. I know it's his 3rd at least, as he's a 3-year letterman, and he's in there as well to make a nice play.
And he is a fire hydrant in the middle, and he can get some things done. 2nd down, Lee at the 21. Stretch play, Tyrone off right tackle, 25 out to the 27, 8-yard line. We have not yet mentioned this. Irvin on the stop. Tyrone, who broke the school record for most yards rushing in a career, enters the game with 3,812 yards rushing, a touchdown away from tying Keandre Smith and Derek Farmer's school record of 42. He gets 7 there. It's 3rd down and 3.
Has a nice brigade in front of him, blocking with Banks, coming over from his guard position, leading the way, making a nice crackback block on the far side against Chris Burns.
Midway first quarter, no score. JT threatened, couldn't get anything out of it. Lee with 3rd down and 3. Wing back reverse, Peyton Price 30, 35, 40, breaks a tackle into JT territory as Peyton Price wants to be a doctor one day, did a little surgical move on the right side. Charles Arthur may have saved the touchdown. 22 yards for number 31, Peyton Price.
And Price really, he got through the containment and stumbled and kept his balance for 7 or 8 yards before he finally falls down, and had he stayed on his feet, he would have taken it to the house. But a nice touchdown-saving tackle for John Tyler.
1st and 10, Lee at the John Tyler 49. Walter Simpson to the near side. Jason Williams is the deep back. They run Tyrone on that wing back counter. Gets about 3 or 4 down to the 45-yard line for Lee up front. Saron Black and Sam Banks. Blake Larman, the center. Ryan Culp and Ryan Davenport getting his first start at right tackle in place of Matt Holland, who should be back next week. We'll also hear a lot from Andrew Bailey and Stephen Christian. John Giles, Jonah Murphy, Tyler Fleet all rotate at the tight end spots. Tony Bush, Walter Simpson, and Jonathan Williams, the split ends and wide receivers. Price, the fullback, T.Y., the deep back here on 2nd down and 6. They run that wing back reverse again. Williams has the 40, 35, and tripped up by 44, Ben Roberts, who got down at the ankles after a gain of 13 for Jason Williams. But Roberts again takes a knee to the head. He gets up, tough kid at the JT 32.
And we know how good Lee is at scheming offensively. So far they've run the ball right several times. Now they come back with the same play, just turned it around, run it from the left, and a nice bit of blocking up front from Larman and Banks, and also the human island, Saron Black.
Lee now 1st down and 10. Tony Bush splits far side. Giles the H-back, tight end near side, left hash. Play action, Josh. Steps up, runs this near side, 30, 25. Close to a 1st down. He's got it inside the 20. Jonathan Arsenault, the junior linebacker, was there, and a gain of 13 yards for Josh Hill. And Lee has a 1st down inside the JT 20.
Well, everybody was covered downfield. Give credit to John Tyler's secondary. And Hill just had to tuck the ball under and run back to the near side of the field towards the home side. And he does pick up the 1st down, and a nice heady play for Josh Hill.
So the ball at the 18-yard line of JT. Offset eye, Price the up back. Simpson and Bush split either way. Tight end is Giles. T.Y. the deep back up the gut at the 15. Bounces outside. Down close to the 10. Roberts again was there. Saron Black with a nice nifty block inside to seal that left-hand side. And Tyrone picks up 8 yards. It's now 2nd down and 2 at the JT 11.
And once again, Lee's getting a great surge. Their offensive line came to play today, David, and they're just getting a nice push against the undermanned, smaller unit from John Tyler.
JT defensively up front. Coleman, H, Blackshear, Burns, Arsenault, Irvin, and Hunt are the linebackers. Roberts and Arps the corners, and Maddox and Taylor the safeties. We'll see a lot of Antoine Bush in there as well. Second and about 2.5. Peyton Price inside the 10, down inside the 5. First down and goal. Gary H., the defensive tackle, the 5'10", 200-pound senior on the stop. But Lee has a first and goal and a gain of 6 yards.
Well, just nice seal block up front from Brian Culp as they run back to the right side. And just a good push and an open hole. And Lee's doing pretty much what they want to, moving the ball at will on this initial drive of the night.
Don't forget now this game between JT and Lee next Monday at 7 o'clock, Wednesday at 7 o'clock on either channels 18 or 62 on Cox Communications with our broadcast. Full house backfield. T.Y. hit at the line of scrimmage. Nice play inside by, I think, 74, Marquise Franklin. Big, solid sophomore. Got inside that time and dragged Tyrone down after basically no gain. Again, a touchdown away from tying the school record of 42 in a career.
Well, Franklin, it brings a load, David. You mentioned it, 6'6", 320. He just fights off his blocker and hits Ross just as soon as he gets towards the line of scrimmage.
And he's just a sophomore. Can you imagine the grocery bills there? Offset I, Lee at the JT 4. Josh Hill stretched to T.Y., bounces it outside, nifty move, gets around the corner, near the goal line, touchdown! Tyrone Ross has just tied Derek Farmer, and Keandre Smith is the all-time touchdown leader in Lee history with a great block by the right tackle, Ryan Davenport at 6-0, Robert E. Lee.
And he gets a nice pull front block from Culp as well, and John Giles on the far side too makes a nice crackback block on Roderick Taylor, enabling Ross to get on into the end zone for his record-tying touchdown.
42 in his career, so is Derek, so is Keandre. Keandre graduated last spring. Derek, of course, playing at Stephen F. Austin. Cole skates, snap from Giles, hold by Preston Hill, kick is up, and it is no good. And Lee has had some problems with the extra points. 3:03 to go first quarter, 6-0 Robert E. Lee back in 60 seconds.
Your one-stop sports shop, Tyler Athletics. Represent your team like never before. On the field, on the court, it's all in our store. The spirit of your team, the season of your dreams. Looking for the victory, we've got what you need. Your one-stop sports shop, Tyler Athletics. Your one-stop sports shop, Tyler Athletics.
Here's a question. If you needed your insurance, who would you call? Not the name of the company, but the name of the person. You've got 2 seconds. Coming up blank, you may want to consider Allstate. You'd have a local agent you can count on, a licensed professional whose name you know, not just a number. You deserve a relationship with a real person.
For all your insurance needs, call the McIntyre Insurance Agency in the Albertson Shopping Center.
Hi, I'm Becky Martin. I've been with TISD for 19 years, and I teach English here at Robert E. Lee, and you're watching TISD football on Cox.
Back at Trinity Mother Frances Rose Stadium in Tyler, 6-0 Lee. 5-yard touchdown run from Tyrone Ross. Randy, the summary of that drive.
All right, David, 9 plays, 79 yards for Robert E. Lee in 3 minutes and 49 seconds as they do it pretty much on the ground. Well, the whole drive was on the ground, and Tyrone Ross with another big touchdown for the Robert E. Lee Red Raiders.
But there was a blocked field goal before that set that up. And Craig Smoke, did you get an idea who it might have been?
I mean, yeah, there were multiple players in the area, but it turns out it was Dominique Van Zandt who was the sole player to get the hand on the ball and block it.
It's a senior linebacker, Dominique Van Zandt, kicking off Micah Johnson from the Lee 40. Approaches it, sends that thing well into the end zone and through the back end of the end zone. That's a touchback, and JT's Antoine Bush, the senior, 5'11", 165, will take over at the JT 20-yard line. John Tyler, Kelvin Ratliff, I spent Thursday with the coaching staff in the field house to talk about what they needed, and he said, we need some breaks early. We need something good to happen early. They had the break, Randy, but they couldn't take advantage of it, although the offense did get a third down conversion, something they rarely have had this year.
Well, you know, it's going to be that kind of evening unless they can actually make a big play. And, of course, they had that first opportunity, and now they need a big play on offense to get them right back in the game.
From their 20, Arps near side. Tight end is Fraction. Rashad Brown to the far side. Lee jumping around. They get back. Bush pass caught by Arps. First down 30. Breaks a tackle. Out to the 40. Breaks another one. Great job by Charles Arps before Jason Stripling finally makes the tackle, and JT with 21 yards and a first down.
Beautifully executed play, and right before he gets hit, Bush just tosses it over, and his receiver Arps cuts back in on an 8-yard curl-in pattern, makes the catch, and it wrestles free from several Red Raider defenders to pick up a nice big gainer.
Hey, Charles Arps had 3 catches for 51 yards before tonight's game. He has 2 for 31 already, and we're only 10 minutes into the first quarter. Antoine Bush and that JT offense has to gain some momentum, and they got even more. Torrey Irvin rolls down inside lead territory for a gain of 12, and Eric Ajiki that time at the end of the play makes the stop, and the big fullback, led by DeMontrell Miller's block, picks up 13 yards at the first down line.
And what made it happen was Adrian Johnson, the center, turned out the man in front of him, Jacoby McKenzie, and turned him back inside, opening the door for Irvin to bust on through, and he has a nice big gainer for the Lions.
JT moved the ball a lot last week, at times against Horn, but they either turned it over or had penalties to kill the drive. 2 receivers set far side right hash, driving in the lead territory at the 46 straight eye. Bush takes the snap. They go Kendall Hunter, bounces outside and tripped up by Lance Heap, and that is a great play by the safety, who again getting his second consecutive start, because it looked like Hunter was trying to turn the corner, and again he has not yet had a positive gain in his 3 carries tonight.
Well, he had Skates and Ajiki behind a diving Heap, who just does a great job of getting him along the ankles, trips him up. He might have made the corner, but I don't know. Ajiki had an angle on him too, along with Skates, but a nice defensive play, the second one of the evening for Lance Heap.
So it's second down, a loss of 2 actually on the play, back to the Lee 48-yard line. 2 receivers set near side, Brown in the slot, Arps this way, straight eye with Irvin and Hunter. Antoine Bush, the senior. Little slant pattern, Arps undershoots his receiver. He had beaten Micah Johnson on a slant and would have had close to a first down, but the pass that time underthrown, and that brings up 3rd down and 12 for John Tyler.
Once again, it's a timing issue for Bush. As he looks to the near side, he just throws it just a little bit out of the reach. Had to throw it a little early because 2 or 3 Red Raiders are in his face, along with Cordero Mumphrey, along with DeHaven blitzing it from the inside, forcing him to pass the ball a little sooner than he wanted to.
Gabriel Lacey checks in again at defensive tackle in a passing situation. Minute 27 to go, first quarter, 6-0 Robert E. Lee. Antoine Bush offset on. In trouble, throws the screen over the middle. Irvin breaks a tackle inside the 40, first down. What a great effort by Torrey Irvin. Micah Johnson makes the stop, and they were all over Antoine Bush. Heap and Stripling, though, eventually involved in a first down throw. It looks like it's a first down. They have to bring the sticks out, but Torrey Irvin broke a tackle at the 45. They set up the middle screen, and they were all over Antoine, but he did a great job of finding a way to get rid of the football.
Wow, and not only that, Irvin stayed pat right in the middle of the field, did not move till he caught the ball, turned around, nobody at home for Lee to cover him, and he breaks an initial tackle near the 40 and drives on forward. A big play for John Tyler.
Should be a first down. Looks like it's a first down, and it is. And another, now this is before the game, JT was 16 of 69 on 3rd down conversions, 23%. You want to be in that mid-30 range or so, and they have now converted 2 out of 3 first downs in this game, I believe, including now a couple of times, and that was a great screen pass to Torrey Irvin. Lee had it read as far as the blitz part of it, a perfect time for JT to throw the screen pass to Irvin. Going both ways tonight. 2 receivers near side. Antoine to Hunter, right tackle, gets a couple of yards. Jason Stripling was there initially, and so was Ricky Sherfield. A gain of about 1.5 yards for Kendall Hunter, the sophomore, and it's now 2nd down and 9.
Well, he gets his first actual positive yardage on the run, does Kendall Hunter, as Lee is there to stop him, but he gets a great block up front too from DeMontrell Miller, his big right tackle, pushing back on Cordero Mumphrey.
As we mentioned in the pregame, we will have both a JT and Lee player of the game, thanks to Dusty Rhodes Marine, 155 South in Tyler, and Highway 69 in Lufkin. Both teams will have that name in the name of $50 in the name of each of the players of the game of the Scholastic All-Stars program. Antoine, straight drop, fade pattern, Maddox covered by Quentin Nicholson. Great coverage. That thing had nowhere to be caught, as it looked like Maddox looked up a little bit late, and Nicholson was more the receiver than the receiver was. It's now 3rd down and 8.
Well, Maddox is running a straight fly pattern towards the end zone, and the pass is behind him at any rate. I don't know if there's a miscommunication on the call play for John Tyler or not, but Nicholson read the ball coming over his head, and it was thrown harmlessly out of bounds.
So 15 seconds to go, first quarter. One of the things Calvin and his staff also said was, David, we got to make sure we don't get landslided early in this game. So far, JT's done that in the second time in lead territory. Third down at about 8.5 at the lead 34. Bush, three-step drop. Throws, pass caught, first down at the lead 24, and they are getting in between the Lee zone. Nicholson that time, along with Ajiki and Charles Arps, first down, JT, and a gain of 10 yards.
Well, that's just great timing once again. Bush waits till his receiver gets to his spot, and right before he turns on his pattern, his curl pattern, he lays it right in the spot he needs to be, and no Red Raiders are home, and John Tyler's marching down the field.
And they will march to the other side of the field as that play will end the first quarter. JT driving down by 6 at the end of 1. JT and Lee on News Talk 600 KTVB and 1490 ESPN Radio.
Okay, we'd like you to try 2 frozen lattes. One is from a national chain of coffee shops, and the other is new from Dairy Queen.
This one's fantastic.
Looks like you chose the new DQ Latte. Great. Okay, you can give it back now.
Test is over. Let it go.
The new DQ Mulate Frozen Blended Coffee, made with creamy DQ soft serve in 3 tempting flavors. Grab one and DQ something different.
Likes it a lot.
Education is a priority in Tyler. With new growth and increasing student enrollment, the Tyler Independent School District studied the condition of its facilities. Focusing on the most critical needs first, the district's Board of Trustees voted unanimously to call for a bond election for a portion of these needs. The election affecting the children of Tyler is November 2nd. Visit www.tylerisd.org and click on Bond 2004 or call 903-262-1064.
Starting the second quarter, John Tyler down 6-0, but for the second time inside Lee's 30. First down on the throw from Antoine Bush to Charles Arps, who has as many catches in this game, 3, and almost as many yards in this game as he's had all year. 3 catches for 41 yards, and JT has controlled the time of possession, Randy. They got the big turnover. They couldn't convert on it, but they're keeping that explosive Lee offense off the field.
And if you're Kelvin Ratliff, that's exactly what you want to do. And they've done a fantastic job. 8 minutes and 11 seconds time of possession in the first quarter to 3:49 on Lee's only possession.
So JT, a team that's 2-5 and beat up 41-2 last week by Mesquite Horn, playing very well on offense. First down at the lead 25. Tight end near side, Antoine Bush. They go to Hunter, bounces outside, gets away from the first man, has 5 yards down to the 20. That time Lance Heap missing the tackle. Ajiki was there, but a gain of about 6 yards for Kendall Hunter, the sophomore, as he bounces outside. It's now second down and 5.
You have to credit Heap nonetheless. He's playing against the run, and he's up there for run support, and he's right there to meet Hunter. He just can't wrap him up, and the speedster gets outside and makes a nice 5-yarder.
So a gain of really almost 6. The ball just inside the lead 20-yard line. Officially 5-yard pickup, second down and 5. As we start this second quarter, and JT knocking on the door. Down by 6. Antoine Bush, handoff deep. Kendall Hunter makes the first man miss. He got around McKenzie, but Van Zandt and Sherfield were there, and that time he got just a couple of yards down to the 18-yard line. He made the first man miss. McKenzie, because of the penetration, Randy, allowed the linebackers to get to the flow of the ball.
True, McKenzie gets by Adrian Johnson, the center, but just a nice juke move from Hunter, and he's got great skills. Just a sophomore, so bright things upcoming the next couple of seasons, too, for Kendall Hunter.
Well, JT's converted on 2 third downs, and they've thrown the ball in between the Lee zone, underneath the corners and safeties. 3rd and 4 here, maybe just 3. Antoine to the fullback, Irvin, first down as he bowls his way down to the 15. Lee has struggled against the power rushing teams, Euless Trinity, Lufkin with Jaworski Lane, and Cole Skates makes the stop, but Torrey Irvin picks up 6 yards and a first down. John Tyler.
He's a cannonball. He just gets the ball and leans forward and gets those big legs churning, and he blasts through for a nice gainer. And got to give credit to the left side of his offensive line. Chris Burns with a nice block along with Chris Allen, the left tackle.
I tell you what, if you're John Tyler, you have a chance to throw the ball a little bit. You've gained some momentum there, but at the same time, it does look like they can run the ball with Irvin between the tackles. First down and 10, JT at the lead 13. Here's Hunter. Tries to bounce outside. Nothing there. DeHaven was there, and along with a bunch of other red jerseys. Cole Skates, Van Zandt, James Wilson has also checked in at defensive end, and he lost a yard. In fact, maybe lost a yard and a half second down.
Well, the Red Swarm gets after them that play as they try to run to the right side. Just a nice bit of containment for the defense as they fight off the surge from the John Tyler line.
Nick Mitchell has checked back at the game. They were not sure he was going to play tonight, but he has checked into the game at the safety spot. Remember, did not even suit up in the game last week against North Mesquite. Second down and about 11 and a half for JT at the 15-yard line. Straight eye. Bush, tight end left side, right in the middle of the field. Pump, pass, caught, touchdown, John Tyler. Antoine Bush, the quick throw to Charles Arps, and JT is an extra point away from taking the lead, and a stunned Lee crowd on the home side.
Well, that's just a great play call from Kelvin Ratliff and his staff as Bush just stood up and threw the ball out to the right flat. The receiver makes the catch and makes a fantastic move, and he gets to the right corner for the score, and John Tyler has come to play tonight.
This is a team averaging under 10 points per game, and they have almost scored on 2 possessions. Here's the extra point by Colburn. They've struggled with these themselves. Here's the snap, here's the kick. It is up, and it is good, and John Tyler leading Robert E. Lee with 10:04 to go in the first half, 7-6, and Lee with Eric Ajikis down on the field but gets back up, and we're back in 60 seconds on KTBB.
Man, are we going to take every lap full speed? Yeah! Are we going to trade paint without fear? Yeah! Are we going to brush our hair 100 times a day and condition after every shampoo and choose the right hair color to match our skin tone? Tim?
Terry, I'm an autumn.
I'm a spring. Now let's go out there and win one!
Supercuts, proud sponsor of Fitz Bradshaw Racing.
The daily download on Fuse. It's a countdown and free online music. But it's a long day if you're waiting for dial-up. Get Cox high-speed internet and go to Cox.net. Enter the Get Your Daily Download sweepstakes. Win a trip backstage with the host at Fuse's New York studio, or you can win a TV PC package. Activate Cox high-speed internet service and you'll get a cool Fuse watch. The daily download on Fuse, weekdays at 6 p.m. Eastern.
Download your favorite songs in seconds with Cox high-speed internet. Go to Cox.net and order today.
Throughout the week, Mike Owens kept telling his team about Rockwall and Longview last week, where Rockwall had Longview dead to rights until the last minute 79-yard drive by the Lobos. He may need to remind him about that again as it's 7-6 JT with 10:04 to go in the first half.
And this is how they did it, David. 12 plays, 80 yards and 4:55. And Arps takes the pass from Bush, 15-yarder. And Garman with the PAT, and John Tyler's in the lead.
Actually, it was Colburn with the extra point, and he kicks off here. Short kick that finds a gap. Picked up by Tony Bush at the 10-yard line. At the 15, cuts it up at the 20, 25, 30, out to the 32-yard line. He was very close. Arsenault for JT may have saved a touchdown as Tony Bush, who has a 97-yard kickoff return, is tripped up, and Robert E. Lee down by 1 at the 32-yard line, and this offense is going to have to make a lot of plays with the Lee defense tonight. JT kind of pushing them around here in the first half. Up front again, Black, Banks, Lorman, Culp, and Davenport for Lee. Christian, I think, now is the right guard, or the right tackle. Lee runs the wing-back reverse to T.Y., tries to kick it outside, nowhere to go. Nowhere to go, he will lose yardage. Great coverage by JT's Charles Arps. You talk about a kid playing a whale of a football game at wide receiver and corner. T.Y. lost a yard.
And the JT defense is really playing with a lot of enthusiasm. They just string the play out beautifully. Lee can't get anything going as Ross has to pull up and really just take it to the ground. And credit John Tyler, really inspired football right at the moment.
The JT defense allows only 249 yards per game and 19 points a game. They can get to the football. Second down and about 11. Josh Hill runs play action, steps up in the pocket. Has a man wide open, Giles. He couldn't catch it, and he would have had room to run. and maybe could have scored on that play. Brian Culp with nice block inside to keep the protection going, and Josh Hill misfires to a wide open John Giles, and can JT feel it here, up by 1 and 3rd and 11 for Robert E. Lee.
Well, just the pressure from the outside really disturbed Josh on that play. Had to turn back inside, look down the field, didn't see his primary receivers, but he had Giles wide open on the near side and just underthrew him with the pressure.
So now the pressure, 3rd and 11, and Lee down by a point, and the JT defense is dancing around up front. Lee runs the wing back reverse. Peyton Price has the 40, first down, gain of 13 yards. Tripped up by Ben Roberts. A stiff arm, he could have got another 5 or 10, but he does get the first down on the wing back counter with a fullback.
And that works well because Lee really runs it very well. They just get a nice opening block as they pull from the right side to the left with Culp leading the way and Banks and Black on the left side opening nice holes, and Peyton Price shows a mad dash through it for the big gainer.
One of the players up front for JT that the offensive line coach Gary Fleet for Lee was concerned about was 33 Gary Yates. He's been involved already. Stretch play to T.Y., nowhere to go. He's going to lose yardage. He is going to lose 5. And there were all sorts of blue and white jerseys there. Hunter was there, Irvin was there, Yates was there, Coleman was there, and so was Antoine Bush, and it looked like they knew the play. Gary Yates, the defensive tackle we mentioned, now down after that play, trying to get up, and they're trying to give him as much time as they can give him, and he does get up. What a tough young man he is, a 5'10", 200-pound defensive tackle for John Tyler.
Well, the JT DBs just really read the play beautifully. Hunter comes in just on a sprint as he sees Ross come to the near side taking the stretch play, and they just wipe it out, and another great play from John Tyler.
I'll tell you right now, that was a surge of blue and white. They knew exactly what was happening there. 2nd down, 15 as the JT band gets cranked up. Josh Hill, play action to the fullback, sideline throw, nothing there. T.Y. dropped it anyway, and he would have lost maybe another yard. As number 11, Kerry Maddox was there, and John Tyler, the team that looks like they're 4-3, and Lee right now looks like they're the team that's 2-5.
Well, it's all about the intensity, and right now the guys in white and the blue hats, John Tyler, they feel something tonight. This could be something special for them, and they're going to have to play up to their best. Of course, being shorthanded may in the end be their undoing, but right now they're just playing a well of a game.
And another 3rd and long for Robert E. Lee at their 39, 3rd and 15. They have 3 receivers, Bush near side. Josh steps, pocket, throwing deep, receiver Williams, incomplete, great coverage by the cornerback, and I think that was Ben Roberts or Kerry Maddox. Kerry Maddox was there again, and JT's defense forces Lee to punt it back to him. Jonathan Williams, the intended receiver.
Well, Josh had plenty of time on the pass play. Looking downfield, had one receiver on the far side of the field and went to him. It's a little bit high and hard to catch, but give credit again for another white uniform being draped upon Lee.
Craig Smoke?
Yeah, a really strange feeling over here on the Lee sideline. I mean, a little bit of disbelief in both the crowd and on the sidelines. And what John Tyler did with that last offensive series, they just got their defense into it as well, and it should be a good game.
It ought to be a heck of a game. It's a great game right now. 7-6, JT leading and getting the ball back. Snap to Josh Hill. Gets it off, turns it over as he always seems to do. Hunter back to field the punt, lets it go inside the 20, down to about the 16-yard line, down to the 15, to the 12, and very nice job by Josh Hill on the punt. I don't know if there's any flags down there. Yeah, there is. There's a flag down at the Lee 40-yard line, and this could wipe out a 44-yard punt. The referee is Gene Malloy again, the Tyler Lone Star chapter of officials, and now we'll check the flag. Procedure against Robert E. Lee will wipe out a 44-yard punt with no return, and JT will get another opportunity to return this punt with the dangerous Kendall Hunter.
And that could mean 10 or 20 yards or more if he's able to field it. But with Josh's cannon leg this year, he just nails another one, and Lee's really got to be responsive and really pay attention to these unforced errors, if you will.
Well, we've been saying that. Sometimes if you do it in a game, then it might just be a game. But when you do it throughout the year, it is something that you just have a problem with. And it's the pre-snap penalties, offsides on the kickoff coverage. Those kids are excited about getting down the field, but you got to watch where you're on. And JT, again, will get the ball in what should be very good field position. Josh Hill, the punter, averaging 44.7 yards per punt. That was 44 there, no return, but he has to do it again. Snap, gets it off, line drive punt, Hunter lets it hit at the 30 and goes out of bounds, and that's a difference of about 16 yards, and another flag is down. On the far side of the field, it's the same flag, right about the same spot, and I'm not so sure here that maybe the wide receiver for Robert E. Lee is not lining up behind the line of scrimmage. Gene Malloy, the official. Procedure against Robert E. Lee. The wideout against Robert E. Lee. It's going to cost him 5 more unless they take the ball at the 30-yard line.
Oh, they're going to make him punt it again.
They should.
Yeah, he bet.
Because Josh had a 44-yard punt. That one there was not much because it went out of bounds at the 30 for 37. And the fans on the near side, the home crowd tonight is Robert E. Lee. You can hear a lot of them grumbling, but we've seen this throughout the year. Lee with a lot of pre-snap penalties. And I don't think they have somebody lined up on the line of scrimmage, and Quentin Nicholson now will come up on the line of scrimmage. I still don't think he's in the line of scrimmage at the 30-yard line. He has to keep on coming up a little bit more. Now the snap from John Giles. Josh Hill, the punter. Kendall Hunter back deep to field the punt. Snap, hits the ground. Josh scoops it up, gets it off, and turns it over. Hits at the JT 30 and goes backwards. And look at the difference here. And JT will get the ball to start at their own 45-yard line. That's a 29-yard difference from where the ball was stopped on the first punt of 44 yards.
Yeah, 2 5-yard penalties, and then the punt was only 26 yards as it didn't hit right. It just bounced back 5 more yards towards the Lee side of the field. And John Tyler's taking advantage of every break so far, at least early on, and let's see if they can continue to do so offensively.
Kelvin Ratliff and his coaching staff under a lot of pressure with this program. They've not made the playoffs since 2000. His first 2 years, they missed it, 1-9 last year, and they have put up a whale of an effort here in the first half against Lee, leading Robert E. Lee 7-6 with 7:18 to go in the second quarter, and with the ball near midfield. Bush, straight eye, Brown in motion. Antoine, deep pitch back to Hunter, bounces outside, looks for a block, turns the corner, grabbed by Micah Johnson, and has about 6 yards, close to a first down, and Craig Smoke.
Yeah, I just talked to Robert E. Lee trainer Weldon Thompson. He said that Eric Kajiki's experiencing some pain high in his ankle, and right now he's on the bench with an ice pack on that ankle, and they'll reevaluate him at halftime.
Craig, thank you for the update from the sideline. 2nd down and 6 as Hunter must have stepped out of bounds right at the JT 49. Lance Heap was there. The safety along with Takarian Cuba. Cuba's checked in along with Mitchell because Ajiki's out. So it's now Mitchell and Cuba, the safeties for Robert E. Lee. 2nd down and 6, John Tyler, straight eye at their 49. Play action, Antoine rolls in trouble, now rolls back the other way. Trying to tell a man to come back downfield, the pass underthrown and incomplete. Nice pressure initially came from Dominique Van Zant and Ricky Sherfield.
Give credit to Kendall Hunter as he saw his quarterback rolling back to the far side of the field and went right after Stripling to make a nice block and save the quarterback from getting sacked 5 or 6 yards back in the backfield, but the pass goes incomplete nonetheless. Good
3rd down, JT. Normally this would be, well, golly, it's 3rd down, but they have now converted a huge 3rd down. In fact, the touchdown pass to Arps, of course, had to be a part of the confidence between Antoine and his wide receiver. From the 49, JT with 7:03 to go in the first half, up 7-6. In motion, Taylor. Antoine, short pass, picked off. Nick Mitchell stepped in front of the receiver, and Lee gets a turnover at midfield. And that time, JT may have gone to the well one time too often, as it looked like Roderick Taylor, the intended receiver, but the safety that time kind of got him in the passing lane, and Antoine's picked off, and Lee gets a huge break.
Well, it's a defensive alignment that Lee has out there. They're in a zone defense, and with Nick Mitchell playing up in run support up close to the line of scrimmage, he takes 3 yards back and just turns around and reaches back to make a nice interception, and Lee takes over with a big turnover.
JT into the game, taking 3-step drops and firing short passes, have been effective, but that time picked off at midfield by Nick Mitchell. The 3rd interception for Lee this year. This is T.Y. off right tackle. Nothing there as JT continues to beat him up inside, and That time it's all sorts of jerseys. It's 54 Burns, it's Irvin, number 2, 33, it's Gary Yates, and Jonathan Blacksher was there as T.Y. gets a tough 2 yards, 2nd down and 8.
And John Tyler's landslide defense, they come right at you with their speed. They do have quite a few athletes too, although they're younger. As we mentioned at the onset, they have 8 juniors starting on defense, and they come to play today.
Robert E. Lee now brings an extra tight end into the game. John Giles, the junior, with 11 catches for 172 yards, but has not gotten in the end zone as he did quite a bit his freshman year. T.Y. is out. Giles, the H-back. Bush, the split receiver near side. Right hash mark. Josh Hill, play action. Sideline pass. Williams, nothing there. I mean, basically caught it at the line of scrimmage, and tremendous pursuit by John Tyler again, as Williams may have lost a yard and brings up 3rd down and 9, and Jonathan Arsenault again with Terrence Coleman around as well.
Well, right now, John Tyler is reading the offense very well. They come in with a very nice game plan, and they're just attacking each side of the field and doing a great job at it.
I'm not so sure, but that might be the first completed pass of this game. Josh Hill is 1 for 5 for -1 yard in this game. And this is 3rd and 10 after the turnover at midfield. Offset eye. Josh Hill in trouble, sets up the middle screen, almost picked off by John Tyler. And Hill gets dumped at the end of the play on pressure from Yates and Blacksher, and JT's defense forces Lee on a 3 and out after the interception at midfield.
And just great aggressive defense. They just come at you from all angles, and right now they're taking it to Robert E. Lee, and they're outplaying him. And let's see if Coach Owens does make a nice adjustment either now here in the second quarter or during halftime.
Under 6 minutes to go in the first half. 7-6 Robert E. Lee down by 1 as JT has had the energy and made the big plays. And their defense playing tremendous. Timeout JT. Not sure exactly why. Maybe too many men on the field. Let's see. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Not sure. But this is a whistle. Timeout. John Tyler will take it with him. 5-50. No, it's a flag down at the back of the end zone. I'm not sure if it's a delay of game against Lee, or it could be illegal substitution against John Tyler. That's what it is. Illegal substitution. A 5-yard penalty. Gene Malloy, the official. And now I'm not so sure if that changes the way Lee looks at what they're trying to do.
I still think they're going to punt the football, David, but we'll just have to see what they do.
Oh, no, they're waving off. Okay, that's what they're doing. They're waving off the delay of game call
because of the timeout.
Because John Tyler called the timeout. So that's why there was a discussion initially with the official on the near side. Back deep, Kendall Hunter. Now, Lee faked the punt last week. Peyton Price, remember, had a 30-yard run in the game against North Mesquite. They did not score on that drive, but it occurred at about this same location. John Giles, the deep snapper. JT 7, Robert E. Lee 6, with 5:58 to go in the second quarter, and JT bringing some pressure with Torrey Irvin up the middle. Giles, snap to Hill. JT wants to set up the return. Josh turns it over, hits at the JT 10, and down inside the 10 at about the 6-yard line. Takarian Cuba was down there, and John Tyler with a 1-point lead will start at about their 6-yard line. 43-yard punt from Josh Hill, no return.
And a nice, really recovery now. Field position falls back in Lee's favor. Let's see if their defense can get a quick 3 and out or make something happen to get them the ball back as we head a little deeper into the second quarter.
Antoine Bush and his football team, led by the offensive coordinator right now, Royce Hill, who's had a tremendous game plan. The little touch passes over the middle, 5, 6, 8 yards. Arps, of course, has the touchdown that gave JT the lead, and they've had a little Kendall Hunter starting to get a little room now, and the fullback, Torrey Irvin, has had a couple of nice runs as well. JT from their 6-yard line with Bush, the quarterback. Tight end on the far side, they run Irvin. He does not get to the line of scrimmage. He's gang tackled back at the goal line. He lost a yard. Craig Smoke was closer to that than we were. Who made the tackle?
Yeah, Nick Mitchell was there on the play. Dominique Van Zandt was also in there, but Nick Mitchell primarily on the tackle.
So Nick Mitchell, who did not play last week, Randy, wasn't starting tonight, has now become heavily involved in this game.
Well, with Ezekiel out, he is going to be a key cog on Lee's defense. And, of course, the sophomore, Takarian Cuba, is going to have to play big the rest of the way tonight.
So up front, Robert E. Lee's front 3 with McKenzie in the middle, Murphy and Sherfield Mumphrey and Sherfield, of course, the defensive ends, and JT with a second down and 11. Brown in motion from their 5. Hunter goes out wide, breaks a tackle, lost a yard. Great coverage by Jacoby McKenzie, and it looked like Dominique Van Zant may have fumbled or may have forced him inside. DeHaven was there, and it's 3rd down and 12, John Tyler.
Credit to Carrion Cuba coming up from the strong safety position as well, and Stripling from his bandit position, just keeping Hunter back deep in his own backfield, not giving it any way so he can't get outside.
4 minutes, 32 seconds left, first half. John Tyler 7 and Robert E. Lee 6. JT from there about the 5-yard line, just inside on 3rd down and about 12. Antoine Bush. Draw play, no, he throws the fade to the receiver, incomplete, and Micah Johnson right there with coverage on the wideout that time, and it's 4th down, and JT will punt from their end zone.
And suddenly at one point, JT was 4 or 5 on 3rd down conversions. They've now missed out on their last 2, with the one before being the interception from Nick Mitchell. Just a great job of coverage downfield as Bush throws it up, a little rainbow down the far sideline, and his receiver can't get to it. Just great coverage.
That's the kind of play you see a lot now in pro football. When a team offensively is back against their end zone, they throw the fade pattern, hoping to get one of those illegal contact calls, because there's a lot of pushing and shoving going on. In the NFL, you get that call. It's now 4th down, JT, and here comes a whistle. Not sure exactly who it's against. It's not. It's a timeout, John Tyler. We're back in 60 seconds on News Talk 600 KTBB.
Okay, we'd like you to try 2 frozen lattes. One is from a national chain of coffee shops, and the other is new from Dairy Queen.
This one's fantastic.
Looks like you chose the new DQ Mulate. Great. Okay, you can give it back now.
Test is over. Let it go.
The new DQ Mulate frozen blended coffee, made with creamy DQ soft serve in 3 tempting flavors. Grab one and DQ something different.
Likes it a lot.
Car shopping can be stressful. With all the clutter out there, it's hard to tell what to buy. But at Jim Lozier's Fire Station Auto Center, we believe that the simplest way is the best way. So we offer a large selection of quality pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs, priced to sell with no hassles. Each vehicle has been through a 20-point inspection for quality assurance. You can shop in comfort under the awnings and check out our newly expanded lot with more inventory than ever before. Jim Lozier's Fire Station Auto Center on the corner of Glenwood and Vine and Tyler.
I'm Phyllis Hendricks. I'm a graduate of John Tyler High School, and I returned to teach here 12 years ago. I teach social studies and history of the Americas in the International Baccalaureate program. You're watching TISD Athletics on Cox Communications.
Tony Bush is at the John Tyler 40. Back to punt is Terrence Garman with the heels of his cleats up against the back line, and it's the blue and white JT end zone as well. 4:17 remaining first half. It is 7-6 John Tyler, and Lee comes after the punt. No pressure though. Garman, very high punt. This is a great coverage punt, and Tony Bush will field it at the 40, and tremendous height on that punt by Terrence Garman. Torrey Irvin was there in coverage, 35 yards, and Terrence Garman, despite the fact he cannot play as a position player with that shoulder, that's a big-time punt right there. Lee takes over at the 40-yard line.
Well, he's still a weapon, and that is just huge for John Tyler. Gets him away from the end zone a little bit, although Lee is in John Tyler territory taking over this possession.
They had the ball at the 50 on the last possession and went nowhere.
Yeah.
At the 40 here. Straight eye behind Josh Hill, the center, is 55, Andrew Bailey. Up the middle, Peyton Price. He's gone. Every game, Peyton Price seems to bust a long run up the middle, and the young man who wants to be a doctor got a great block from Bailey and Culp, and he goes 40 yards, touchdown, Robert E. Lee.
And there we go. They run right to the middle of the field where they've had some success running misdirection and that quick stab dive play, and they just get it open. It holes wide open, no one there for John Tyler, and Lee resumes the lead.
And you got to think that maybe Dal Wynn up in the booth, the coordinator for Lee, trying to find something because his team was not able to get much the first couple of drives because they were trying to go wide a little bit. And Peyton Price, a very much an unsung weapon in this offense. Lee now will go for 2 with a 12-7 lead, offset eye with T.Y. the deep back. Fleet the tight end. Josh rolls to the left. He's got a man wide open. Back of the end zone. Can he get it to Giles? He does. He got the two-point conversion. He had many options, but Josh that time, lots of patience and hits Giles for the two-point conversion. And just like that, with 4:01 to go first half, it's 14-7. Robert E. Lee back in 60 seconds.
Your one-stop sports shop, Tyler Athletics. Represent your team like never before. On the field, on the court, it's all in our store. The spirit of your team, the season of your dreams. Looking for the victory, we've got what you need. Your one-stop sports shop, Tyler Athletics. Your one-stop sports shop, Tyler Athletics.
In the game of life, there are no timeouts, only time wasted. The path you choose now determines your future. But where can you go to find a sense of purpose? There is a place where team spirit steps off the field and into the classroom, where no victory goes unnoticed, and there's no such thing as wasted time. That place is Tyler Junior College, living life in color, never black and white. Come to Tyler Junior College. We're changing the game. We're changing lives.
Back at Trinity Mother Frances Rose Stadium in Tyler on a very hot, muggy night in October. 49th edition of John Tyler and Robert E. Lee, and Lee now up in front, 14-7 after the 40-yard touchdown run from Peyton Price and the two-point conversion on the pass to John Giles.
It went one play, 40 yards in 7 seconds officially, and just a nice hole opened up from Banks and company straight up the gut, and Peyton Price blows through it for 6.
Don't forget, this game can be seen and heard with our broadcast next Monday and Wednesday nights at 7 o'clock on Cox Communications channels 18 or 62. And also we have the Dusty Rhodes Player of the Game for both JT and Lee coming up following the game. Charles Arps has to be somebody we think about on the JT side so far. Micah Johnson, squib kick, bouncing around. John Tyler picks it up. That's Kendall Hunter at the 10, wants to go the other way, gets around Justin Simmons, put a bunch of red and white there to knock him down inside the 20. At the 19-yard line, Nick Mitchell, Colby Ray, and Adrian Beard, a National Honor Society nominee, I think he's a part of the Student Senate, makes the stop for Lee, and John Tyler takes over at the 18. Now, if you're JT and Kelvin Ratliff, offensive coordinator Royce Hill, Randy, you got to get a drive right here because Lee can score, as they just proved, very quickly.
They can score quickly, and John Tyler needs to have one of those time-consuming drives like they did on their own touchdown march, which went almost 5 minutes, and they need that again to consume this last 3:50+ off the clock.
3:53 to go. Lee with a three-man front. Actually, they have Dominique Van Zandt and Stripling right on the line of scrimmage. They run it deep to Kendall Hunter. Nothing there as Cole Skates blew that up. As he was basically, what Lee is doing is daring JT to throw it and coming right at Antoine. Now, JT has been able to throw it at times, but it's second down and 11, a loss of a yard.
Well, they're shooting the gaps, and that's what Skates does from the backside. He just cuts right back in between the tackle and the guard. Neither one of them can block him, and he's right on the tail of Kendall Hunter as he gets the handoff.
3 minutes, 25 seconds remaining. Clock runs. JT has no timeouts remaining because of a couple they had to use with some formation issues, a number of players on the field. Now, at their 17, or make it the 18, Brown in motion, far side. Hunter the deep back. They throw it back to Kendall. He wants to throw it deep. Micah Johnson in coverage. Nowhere near the intended receivers. Micah, who has a couple of interceptions, man-on-man with Charles Arps. And Hunter probably didn't sell that enough that time on the deep pitch back to the halfback.
Well, it wasn't so much that as he had DeHaven on his backside very quickly, along with Lacey. Actually, number 66, Bobby Osborne, was right there in his lap, and he had to hurriedly throw it. He throws it 40 yards downfield. The receiver was another 10 yards short.
3:05 to go. Bobby Osborne is checked in at defensive tackle for Robert E. Lee on third down and 11 for JT at the 18-yard line. 14-7, Robert E. Lee on the 40-yard touchdown scamper from Peyton Price. Antoine Bush, who's had some third down conversions, run the fullback. Irvin, that is Neil Williams, checked at. And Ricky Sherfield, the defensive end, slices down, does a great job of getting in the gap, and Williams gets about 4 out to the 22-yard line, and now with 2:50 to go, clock running, Lee's offense should get the ball back.
And you feel the momentum switch, too, once again, as Lee's done a good job. The second consecutive 3 and out, actually the third consecutive 3 and out, because they had the interception a couple of possessions ago, did Robert E. Lee. They're trying to make a statement with their defense now.
Boy, Torrey Irvin, Chris Burns, and a couple other JT players going both ways, and Irvin, the deep snapper here, took a little while to get out here. Back deep is Garmin. Back to receive the punt is Tony Bush. Lee gets close to Garmin. He turns it over again. Lets it hit at the 40. Bounces around, and John Tyler will down it somewhere at about the 38-yard line. Lee's players, for some reason, standing around there. You always want to get away. But that snap back to Terrence Garmin is almost in slow motion with a loop on it, but he's always been able to get it off, and that's another nice punt by Terrence Garmin back to the Lee 38-yard line with just 2:11 to go, with Lee having all 3 timeouts remaining in a 7-point lead. 41 yards in the punt from Garmin. His brother Bobby, or his dad is Bobby, his brother Robert is a tailback down at Sam Houston State University down in Huntsville. They got a little showdown a week from Saturday down at Stephen F. Austin against Derek Farmer, and a couple of JT and Lee guys getting together. Division I AA, 2 top 20 teams in fact. 4 receivers set for Robert E. Lee. Draw play T.Y. Gets about 4-5. Keeps going. Gets 10. First down. Out near midfield. Looked like there might have been a face mask, but no, I guess not. Brian Colt, the lead block in the pull. Gain of 11 on the draw play. And Torrey Irvin and also Ernest Hunter on the stop for John Tyler.
And of course, they run it to the left side where Lee's big guys and probably the little bit better, more athletic linemen reside, and they just get a nice push on the John Tyler defensive right front.
Blake Larman back in at center for Robert E. Lee. He and Bailey rotate quite a bit. Davenport back in at tackle. He and Christian rotating tonight at tackle. First down, Lee at their 49. Under 2 minutes to go. Josh up the middle. T.Y. absolutely very little room to run. He'll get about 3. And now Lee will take a timeout. Jonathan Blacksher was there on the stop after T.Y. got just 4 on a little gut play. And timeout, Robert E. Lee with 1:47 to go first half. 14-7, Robert E. Lee back in 30 seconds on KTBB.
Here's a question. If you needed your insurance, who would you call? Not the name of the company, but the name of the person. You've got 2 seconds. Coming up blank, you may want to consider Allstate. You'd have a local agent you can count on, a licensed professional whose name you know, not just a number. You deserve a relationship with a real person.
For all your insurance needs, call the McIntyre Insurance Agency in the Albertson Shopping Center.
Okay, we'd like you to try 2 frozen lattes. One is from a national chain of coffee shops, and the other is new from Dairy Queen.
This one's fantastic.
Looks like you chose the new DQ Mulate. Great. Okay, you can give it back now.
Test is over. Let it go.
The new DQ Mulate frozen blended coffee, made with creamy DQ soft serve in 3 tempting flavors. Grab one and DQ something different.
Likes it a lot.
Hi, I'm Angie Billings. I have taught at Lee for 11 years. I teach English, and you're watching TISD football on Cox.
Second down, Robert E. Lee at the John Tyler 47.5-yard line. Well, they actually have it at the 47. 1:47 to go. Lee has 2 timeouts remaining. Bush and Simpson to the near side. Actually, Simpson and Jonathan Williams are split far side. Bush and John Giles are the near side, and Giles in the slot. Lee in a no-huddle offense with Tyrone Ross, the up-back, who picked up 4. He has only 35 yards on 10 carries, as he and Kendall Hunter have both been held in check. Now John Williams sets up in the slot on the left side. Left hash mark, shotgun Tyrone, draw play, bounces outside, not much room to go, and maybe gets 3 or 4 yards. Boy, these are running plays and not much room. T.Y. has just had no room to run, as they are all over number 4, as the JT defense, wherever T.Y. goes, the blue and white go.
And Ernest Hunter and Antoine Bush team up on that tackle as they follow Tyrone, and they're definitely keying on him. They're going to make sure he doesn't beat them or have a big break or a big gain, as they're right there on him each and every time he gets the handoff.
So JT, Randy, early in this game got the fumble on the punt return. They couldn't take advantage of it. The field goal was blocked, but then Lee scores on the 78-yard drive. John Tyler then gets great field position, and they go down on the pass from Bush to Arps to take the lead, and they had a couple of different drives with a 7-6 lead. They couldn't get anything done. They got the interception. Lee couldn't get anything done on the Nick Mitchell interception, but then it's the 40-yard run from Peyton Price, and it looks like T.Y. tonight, if you're a Lee coach, is that he is the decoy. because everyone else seems to be running free when they get the football. In the backfield, Peyton Price, Lee with a 4 wide receiver set. They have a minute 38 to go. First half at the JT 44, 3rd and 3. Josh Hill up the middle, Peyton Price very close to a first down. I think he's short. The ball came loose at the end of the play, but the whistle had blown, and I think it's a first down, and that's 3 plays with only a minute 32 to go on runs right up the gut, and Lee needs a first down here to stop the clock. It all depends now on the mark.
Well, that's 4 consecutive plays they've run inside the tackles. And obviously they saw a little weakness in John Tyler's defense when they had the big 40-yard blast play for 6. Not a first down.
Gene Malloy, the referee, Tyler Lone Star chapter, a gain of 3 yards from Peyton Price, and it's very close. It's right on the mark based on the angle we have. But you never know. It could be a nose of the football or 2. And Gene Malloy, the official, wants to bring it out and make sure he's got a good angle. It's on the right hash mark. They run T.Y. up the middle for 3, T.Y. up the middle for 4, and they get Peyton Price for 3, and that's Peyton for a first down. But very
conservative would be a good word right now.
Conservative as far as that. They could be trying to set something up,
True.
but again, if you don't get a first down right there, then you got a decision to make on 4th and 1 at the John Tyler 41. Now the clock should start when they set the chains at the 41. It's a very explosive offense that scores in a hurry, and very, be honest with you, very patient right there as well with those first 3 runs on first down at the midfield. Snap comes from Larman. Josh Hill is the quarterback. Over the middle, Bush, 30, 25, gets outside, turns the corner. Inside the 20 and dodges another defender down to the 19-yard line. And Tony Bush gains 22 yards and a first down for Robert E. Lee down to the JT 19-yard line.
They're trying to lull him to sleep as Dow Wynn and Mike Owens, and they do that, and they run Bush on a crossing pattern, which we don't see a lot of. And Josh had all day to throw the balls. His line does a great job, and the connection is good for a big first down.
Tony Bush in the open field, as dangerous as they come, and Lee will go in the shotgun again. No huddle. The clock stopped as Tony Bush got out of bounds with a minute 15 to go in the first half. T.Y. now is the up back. Snap from Larman. Josh was in the shotgun. He rolls to the near side and runs for his life. Now throws it out of bounds and will stop the clock as well. And here's a flag down from the official at the end of the play, and I'm not so sure. If there might, I'm not sure if he got the ball, if they get the pass. No, personal foul. Oh, that's a tough roughing the passer against Chris Burns. And that is just, you cannot make that mistake, because now you give Lee the ball inside the 10-yard line.
And it's probably been just those mistakes that have gotten to John Tyler most of the season. Chris Burns does an excellent job of flushing out the quarterback heel out of the pocket and forces him to throw the ball away, but he's outside the tackles, and then he hits him right along the sideline, right in front of the Lee bench.
And JT's defense, all of a sudden they played pretty well. They played very well this first half, and Lee is knocking on their door at the 9-yard line, make it the 8 on a half the distance to the goal penalty. From the 19, it should be at about the 9. Josh did a tremendous job just to try to avoid. He just ran for his life, and JT again with tremendous pursuit. Now they'll set it up at the 8-yard line. Blake Larman in the center. Josh Hill in the shotgun. In motion, Jonathan Williams. Snap. T.Y. rolls to his right. They throw a flare pattern. Can he break a tackle? No, he cannot. He lost 2 yards. And again, a play behind the line of scrimmage. Josh Hill has 3 completions tonight, and only 1 throw has been for positive yards.
Well, that's just a great job by Chris Burns, as he has containment to the outside, following around with T.Y. the whole time. The pressure getting quickly to Josh Hill. He dumps it off, and T.Y. cannot get around Chris Burns.
Lee now with just 1 timeout remaining. 2nd down and goal. Here comes the blitz from the 11. Josh. There's a flag down, or perhaps a whistle. There's a flag on the far side. Gene Malloy, Brad Yates are the umpire. Rip Broomgool is the head linesman. Mike Peak, the line judge, and the back judge is Milburn Cheney. Lee has a 5-yard procedure call. Dead ball foul. That's the 3rd time from that side of the field that they've had somebody either not lined up correctly or jumped a little bit early. And on one of them, it was a punt twice. Hard to make a mistake lining up for a punt, but they did. Now from the 16, Josh in the shotgun. Over the middle, screen pass. Absolutely nothing there, and they're lucky that wasn't picked off. John Giles. Timeout Lee with 18 seconds remaining, and Adrian A.J. Johnson, the big junior, stops him. And Randy, my question here is Lee has had success throwing the ball on crossing patterns. They have not thrown the ball to Walter Simpson tonight, who's usually a great possession receiver. It's 3rd down and goal from the 16-yard line. JT's defense, along with the penalty, has moved them back.
Well, Lee likes to try the screen pass, the middle screen especially. Several times tonight we've seen it. And as you mentioned, they don't throw the ball over the middle much at all. We've just seen it once tonight with the completion to Bush. And, of course, Simpson is your main weapon as a receiver, possession-wise and down the field. And I think they really need to get the ball to him.
They have completions. First of all, 4 of 9 passing. Robert E. Lee has completions of -1, -2, 0, and 22 yards. The 22-yarder was the crossing pattern to Tony Bush on 3rd down. 18 seconds remaining. Lee 14. John Tyler 7, 18 seconds left, and Lee has no timeouts remaining on 2nd down and goal. Shotgun, up back is Tyrone Ross. Josh Hill rolls to the far side. Throws the ball, Giles, caught it, touchdown! That was a beautiful throw. That was a great catch by Giles because he took a shot right about a yard deep in the end zone as Ben Roberts hit him, but Lee on 2nd down and goal from the 16. They found the seam to the tight end. They threw it downfield and scored.
And the execution was just that. The pass was pinpoint only to one spot, and right where Giles arrived at the very moment, he makes the catch and gets plowed right along the far side.
He took a shot.
Yes, he did.
You had to wait to see if
he
came down, and he did. He got his feet down, and he also took a shot from Roberts, but held on to the football. That is John's 4th career touchdown. And that's almost exactly where he scored in that game as a freshman against Lufkin. There's a flag down. The kick by Cole is good. And we'll check the flag on the far side from the head linesman, Rip Drumgoole. Gene Malloy. And it looks like it must be against John Tyler for possible encroachment as Lee's offense comes off the field, and it is. 12 seconds to go in the first half. Robert E. Lee 21, John Tyler 7. We're back in 60 seconds.
Men, I think our racing team needs to reflect our Supercut sponsorship. So, make some changes. First off, we're going to go to clear helmets so racing fans can see your fine Supercut hair.
Those are made out of glass.
Y'all be careful. Second, uniform change.
How are we supposed to drive? There's no armholes.
I haven't figured that one out yet, but we're working on that.
And I'm out of here.
Fellas,
you're out of your mind. That's not
where are you going?
Supercuts, proud sponsor of Fitz Bradshaw Racing.
Can you drive a stick?
To see this sign on your house, put this sign out front. Century 21 Advantage. Call or visit our website.
I am the king of home entertainment, or the Archduke at least, because I have Cox Digital Cable. Cox has more high-def choices than ever before, and nearly all the high-def programming is free. How cool is that? Cox has great movies and sports programming in high def, plus an interactive program guide that helps you find what you want, when you want, all with no equipment to buy or long-term contract required. You just can't get all that with satellite.
Back at Trinity Mother Frances Rose Stadium in Tyler, Robert E. Lee up 21-7 as they score right before the end of this first half with 12 seconds to go. Randy?
And they do it in 8 plays, go 61 yards, do the Red Raiders, and take off 1 minute and 59 seconds off the clock. And, of course, the touchdown pass, John Giles on the receiving end from Josh Hill.
John's second catch, he had the one, remember, on that middle screen for basically nothing, and then caught the 16-yard seam pass, and that was perfectly thrown by Josh as he rolled straight to his left. Here's Micah Johnson, squib kick, hits a JT player, and Robert E. Lee has recovered at about the 46-yard line. And I honestly don't think, as Lance Heath comes up with a fumble recovery, I got to say this, I really don't think that Micah was trying an onside kick. He tried to squib it, and it happened to hit a JT up man. I really don't think they were trying to get an onside kick because you don't have much time in the first place.
No,
and it just happened to hit a guy in the helmet.
No, 53 going back, that's Warren for John Tyler. Randy Warren didn't see the ball coming until it hit him right on the backside, and it bounced back into Lee territory where 4 or 5 Lee players had a scrum at the ball before Heat comes up with it. And no, it was not intentional. It was going to be a squib kick. It just happened to hit, unfortunately, a John Tyler player.
Yeah, I think he was just trying to just knock it down 20 yards downfield, let the clock run down, and it hit an up man, and Lee's got the ball at the 45, and you go one play here with 8 seconds to go. You wonder if Lee will go deep on one throw. Josh Hill under center, in the pocket, rolls to the far side, now throws it as far as he can into the JT sideline with 1 second remaining, and again, running for his life. And that's with JT with a bunch of guys in deep coverage as well. There were only 3 defenders and 3 receivers, which is, if you're in the offensive team, that's the kind of matchups you want, but you got to have time to throw it. And Torrey Irvin, again, was all over Josh Hill. They'll just take a knee, you would think, here.
I think so. They just really follow him right out. They pursue very well with their athleticism, does John Tyler, and they played a real heady first half.
We'll hear from Mike Owens and Kelvin Ratliff here in a moment as Josh Hill takes a knee. Our score at halftime, Robert E. Lee 21, John Tyler 7. Craig Smoke will visit with Mike Owens.
Coach Owens, you told your team all week that John Tyler was going to come and play a hard ball game. A little bit reminiscent of Longview, almost getting lulled to sleep by Rockwall last week. Do you think your team finally realized late in the second quarter exactly what you were talking about?
Well, I don't know yet. We haven't done anything in the second half. We're going to find out in the second half. I mean, because we've been asleep at the wheel on offense. I'm telling you, we've been just in a daze.
You were down 7-6. How big were those touchdowns by Price and Giles towards the end?
Oh, it's great. You know, anytime we can get ahead like this, I feel good about it, and our defense started playing a whole lot better. And so I feel pretty good right now.
All right, appreciate it, Coach.
Afternoon, sir. Bill Butler, how are you?
Good.
Good. Well, prepare to be great, my friend. I present the Turbo Suck 3000.
Actually, you know, my show's about to start.
Don't worry, Dave. The Cox DVR is set to record every episode. You can watch it when he's done.
Perfect. I'll just need an outlet. There you go.
Watch your favorite shows on your schedule with the DVR from Cox. TV waits for you.
Now you can get into the deep crevices here in the corner.
Okay, we'd like you to try 2 frozen lattes. One is from a national chain of coffee shops, and the other is new from Dairy Queen.
This one's fantastic.
Looks like you chose the new DQ Latte. Great. Okay, you can give it back now.
Test is over. Let it go.
The new DQ Mulate Frozen Blended Coffee, made with creamy DQ soft serve in 3 tempting flavors. Grab one and DQ something different.
Likes it a lot.
Staff member of the week is Linda Powell. Usually members for the week are Boone Key and Ingrid Wickstead. Bringing that to the director of Monica Department, assisted by Cedric Lefebvre. Bringing up the non-entertainment with their ladder routine to Not Dead Yet. presented to you by Robert E. Lee High School. We'd like you to sit back and enjoy the incredible Southern Belle Drill Team and the fabulous Red Raider Band. Performing a colorful hip routine to the music. Let's stand. And the Tyler Independent School District proudly present the pride of Robert E. Lee, the Red Raider Marching Band. And congratulations to the band as they received their fourth consecutive First Division rating at the Region 21 Marching Contest this past week. And now under the field direction of Head Drum Major Adrian Jones, Assistant Drum Majors Brian Kelly and Mondale Anoha, and Field Conductor David Meeks. The Red Raider Band presents their 2004 contest show, Waterworks.
Education is a priority in Tyler. With new growth and increasing student enrollment, the Tyler Independent School District studied the condition of its facilities. Focusing on the most critical needs first, the district's Board of Trustees voted unanimously to call for a bond election for a portion of these needs. The election affecting the children of Tyler is November 2nd. Visit www.tylerisd.org and click on Bond 2004 or call 903-262-1064.
Man, are we going to take every lap full speed? Yeah! Are we going to trade paint without fear? Yeah! Are we going to brush our hair 100 times a day and condition after every shampoo and choose the right hair color to match our skin tone? Tim?
Terry, I'm an autumn.
I'm a spring. Now let's go out there and win one!
Supercuts, proud sponsor of Fitz Bradshaw Racing.
And back deep for Lee is Jason Williams and Tony Bush. Thanks to Kid Jones Convenience Stores for the sponsorship of our halftime report for JT and Lee. Tony from the 11-yard line. Looks for a seam. Goes outside and will be dragged down at the 26-yard line and kind of looked for the wedge and it never developed. Nice job by John Tyler. Jonathan Arsenault, who's been involved along with Aids and Irvin and many others. Ben Roberts and Coleman with a lot of great starts, plays on defense for JT. Now Lee up front, Black, Banks, Larman, Culp, and Davenport, tackle to tackle. They'll open up with Walter split far side, Giles the tight end. They'll stack Williams and Price on the left side, and well, Williams actually is the deep back. Josh Hill runs the stretch. Jason Williams, left tackle, has 5, close to 8-9 yards. Very close to about 9 out to the 35. And Tyrone Ross with a nice lead block off the H-back position.
And we didn't mention Jason Williams much. He only carried it one time on their first possession for a nice 13-yard gainer, and he gets that nice clear-out block. Also, the big left side with Saron Black leading the way and a nice first down gain.
Tyler Fleet in a tight end, which is basically an extended tackle sometimes in this offense. Jason Williams races off. Up front for JT, Coleman, Aids, Blackshear, and Burns. Linebackers are Irvin in the middle, Arsenault and Hunter. Harps and Roberts the corners with Taylor Maddox and sometime Antoine Bush at safety. T.Y. outside, cut back, gain of about 5 out to the 39-yard line, and he got tripped up by an offensive lineman. That was Andrew Bailey, the center, leading the way. Torrey Irvin and Jonathan Blackshear were there for John Tyler.
Also credit John Giles with a nice block on number 8, Ernest Hunter, pulling him out of the way, and that's who actually reached back to trip up Tyrone with a foot loose tackle.
So Lee first down at their 40-yard line. We have just started the third quarter, 21-7, Red Raiders leading John Tyler. T.Y. now the H-back on the far side, twice the up-back. This is play action. Hill gets outside the pocket, finds Giles as a flag down, and this thing almost picked off through the hands of John Giles, and then in the neighborhood of the JT bench, but this is coming back. The umpire throws the flag, and that is Brad Yates, and this will cost Robert E. Lee 10 yards and a holding call, you would think, and it's going to be first down and 20 from the 30-yard line.
Yeah, right where the flag was thrown, that's exactly what it is. It's on the left side of the Lee line, or at least it appears to be, so really not going to take too big of a guess at that. But it's from Mr. Burns rushing in from the middle side of the field. Burns for John Tyler with nice pressure on Josh Hill.
Gene Malloy, the official, the referee of the Tyler Lone Star chapter. And John Tyler defensively now will force Lee to go 20 yards at least to get the first down. Next week, JT is playing Rockwall on the road, and Lee will be here against Mesquite in what is a critical 12-5A game, no matter what happens tonight. Josh Hill, wide receiver, sweep screen. Tony Bush, nowhere to go, does turn the corner, but gets only a yard or two. And I'll tell you right now, the John Tyler corners are just not giving up anything at all on the outside.
Well, Charles Arps is there on the coverage, and he makes a nice move to contain Bush, who makes a nice cutback towards the sideline and jukes around for about a 3-yard gain, but he was held up for next to nothing with great coverage from Arps.
Bush has 2 catches for 23 yards. They're going to give him just a yard based on where he's marked at the 31 now, and it's second down 19. 10:36 to go, third quarter. Josh Hill sets up the middle screen, He has Peyton Price, gets a block outside, and he gets nothing there. Great job by the defense. That is Terrence Coleman and Gary Ates were there, and Lee gets just a couple of yards, and again they throw the little short timing passes on the screen that time, and not much there at all. Andrew Bailey, the center that time for Lee, trying to throw a block, but it wasn't enough, but it's 3rd down and 16.
Well, Lee does a better job of blocking on their screen pass play, but also give credit to Kerry Maddox as he read the play from the far side of the field and came in to help cover up the tackle.
10 minutes to go, under 10 minutes, 3rd quarter. Lee 3rd down and 16. Offensive lineman looking around. Tight end is Giles. Josh in the pocket, going deep to Bush. Post pattern. What an unbelievable catch in traffic by Tony Bush down to the John Tyler 37. It was tremendous protection, great throw, but Randy Kendall Hunter was right there, and Tony out-rustled him for a gain of 30.
Well, he did that, and that's that crossing pattern we mentioned. They've had success in the first half on the one play to Bush, and that's the exact same play. A little better coverage this time for John Tyler, and just a great job of going after the football for Tony Bush to take it away.
Lee has had tremendous success when they've thrown the ball 10, 15 yards downfield. The problem has been when they've tried to throw the slip screens, the screens, and the dunk patterns. 1st and 10, up the gut, Peyton Price for just a couple of 3, now breaks a tackle down to the 30-yard line. That's a tough yardage, 6 yards for Peyton. Coleman, the defensive end, on the stop at 2nd down and 4.
Well, Peyton Price does not give up at all. It appears he stopped right at the point of impact, but he just keeps twisting and turning and turning and twisting, and he makes something out of nothing.
He does. 2nd and 4. Walter Simpson, who has not caught a pass tonight, comes to the sideline. They'll send Jonathan Williams near side, and they have a double tight end set with Jonah Murphy and Giles. Straight on. Wing back Williams, 30. Down to the 25, has a 1st down. Inside the 25 to the 23. And a gain of about 7 yards. And Kerry Maddox, the safety, makes the stop. It's 1st and 10 Lee.
Well, misdirection is part of the bread and butter, if you will, type of play calling from Dow Wynn and Coach Owens. And they see it once again. They run misdirection from the far side of the field back to the near side. Nice opening block from Brian Culp on the right side for Lee.
Sam Banks also pulls. Yep. When he's focused, he's unbelievable. 1st and 10 Lee at the 24, just inside the 24. 8.5 to go, 3rd quarter. T.Y. in motion, takes the snap, they run the fullback, Peyton Price, 20, 15, breaks a tackle, down inside the 10, inside the 10 to the 5. Charles Arps, the quarterback, and Peyton Price with that run has gone over 100 yards for what I think is the first time in his career a gain of 18 yards.
Well, he just does a great job, and a big surge from the Robert E. Lee front right side of their line. They get a tremendous push and just blow John Tyler off the line, and a nice bit of running, breaking a couple of arm tackles is Peyton Price for the big gainer.
Craig, we're going to come to you in a moment on the sideline. He was right there when Peyton was pushed out of bounds. Lee knocking on the door in the opening possession. Full house backfield. Williams, T.Y., and Peyton. T.Y. right tackle, trying to get close to the goal line. Coleman came in at the end. Arsenault was there as well. And Lee down to the 3, 2nd down and goal. And Craig, do you see a different focus from this Red Raider offense in the 3rd quarter?
Oh yeah, definitely a lot of focus. You can tell by the way they're coming out firing on all cylinders. They're not really so conservative as they were somewhat in the first half, and they're picking up a lot of momentum that was carried over from their last 2 drives during the 2nd quarter.
T.Y. has a yard right there. 13 carries, 44 yards, and 1 away. A touchdown away from another school record. Full house backfield at the 4. T.Y. right tackle, down to about the 3. That was Ernest Hunter, the 5'10", 175-pound junior who's played a whale of a game at linebacker, and Lee has 3rd and goal from about the 2.
Well, Lee's executing. You take this drive back to the big play, the crossing pass to Bush really opened the door and helped Lee and able to get down the field. That was a 3rd down conversion play for Lee too, David.
Ernest Hunter down on the field, and we'll take a break. 7:28 to go, 3rd quarter. Robert E. Lee 21, JT 7. Lee knocking on the door. We're back in 30 seconds.
To see this sign on your house, put this sign out front. Century 21 Advantage. Call or visit our website.
Your one-stop sports shop, Tyler Athletics. Represent your team like never before. On the field, on the court, it's all in our store. The spirit of your team, the season of your dreams. Looking for the victory, we've got what you need. Your one-stop sports shop, Tyler Athletics. Your one-stop sports shop, Tyler Athletics.
Stephen Christian's checked in at Lee at right tackle next to Culp. So it's now 3rd and goal. John Tyler at the 2-yard line. Andrew Bailey, the center, for Robert E. Lee with 7:28 to go in the 3rd quarter. 21-7. Lee leads John Tyler. Tyler Fleet also with a double tight end set.
It's all about execution, and right now Robert E. Lee is executing just what they want to do on this current drive, David.
Walter splits far side, double tight set. Tony splits near side, and T.Y. the lone setback from about the 2. Josh, play action, back of the end zone, caught, touchdown. John Giles gets it one again. Very well executed. And Lee's Josh Hill found just enough time. And John Giles, someone who sometimes has disappeared in this passing game, has having a big night tonight.
Well, he sets up on the right slot and comes back and trails back across the field, following his quarterback, waving his arms at the back of the end zone as he has a 2 or 3 yard step lead on the defender covering him. And Josh finds him and just tosses it right over towards that far corner for 6 for Robert E. Lee.
Saron Black pancaked Gary Yates, I think, on that play. Then those two got into a shoving match afterwards. 7:12 to go, 3rd quarter. Here comes the extra point attempt. Snap, hold, flag is down, kick is good. And now we check the flag on the far side of the field, with the head linesman being Rip Drumgoole. And it's against John Tyler again, defensive offside. That guy's been really big. Rip is having to rip that flag out of his pocket quite a bit. 7:12 to go, 3rd quarter, 28-7. Robert E. Lee, we're back in 30 seconds on KTBB.
Okay, we'd like you to try 2 frozen lattes. One is from a national chain of coffee shops, and the other is new from Dairy Queen.
This one's fantastic.
Looks like you chose the new DQ Latte. Great. Okay, you can give it back now.
Test is over. Let go.
The new DQ Mulate Frozen Blended Coffee, made with creamy DQ soft serve in 3 tempting flavors. Grab one and DQ something different.
Likes it a lot.
In the game of life, there are no timeouts, only time wasted. The path you choose now determines your future. But where can you go to find a sense of purpose? There is a place where team spirit steps off the field and into the classroom, where no victory goes unnoticed, and there's no such thing as wasted time. That place is Tyler Junior College, living life in color, never black and white. Come to Tyler Junior College. We're changing the game. We're changing lives.
Mike Owens told Craig Smoke at halftime that he would get his offense refocused. A very impressive way to start the 3rd quarter. They did have the holding call, but they overcome that, Randy, on a big play to Tony Bush and the touchdown, the 2nd one tonight from Josh Hill to John Giles.
11 plays, 73 yards, and 4:48 as Lee does a great job taking up some time off the clock, too, to keep John Tyler's offense off the field, and it's capped off with a 2-yard touchdown pass. John Giles receiving from Josh Hill.
At one point, Josh Hill, the quarterback for Lee, was 1 for 6 for -1 yards. He has now hit 8 of his last 9 passes for 70 yards. Kicking off, Micah Johnson, who's also Lee's starting cornerback deep. Kendall Hunter and Kerry Maddox. Boy, Hunter just a sophomore and exciting player who's been held in check so far. Micah Johnson, pooch kick that hits the ground, and it's on the ground, and Robert E. Lee is recovered inside the 30. Excuse me, inside the 40. A little pooch kick by Micah Johnson, and recovered on the far side by Adrian Beard. Adrian is a part of the Student Senate, and Robert E. Lee gets basically an onside kick, Craig Smoke.
Yeah, it looked almost, John Tyler was a little surprised right there. Whoever it was for John Tyler on that end saw the football coming and almost backpedaled a little bit. That allowed Beard to run up and grab the ball before John Tyler had a chance to jump on it.
Well, I think unlike the first half, how it ended when they were just trying to run a squib kick, Randy, I think that was intentionally a pooch kick. But JT had a player there, and he kind of just didn't react very well. From the 36, Josh Hill, play action, has time in the pocket, over the middle, dropped by Tyler Fleet. And a flag comes down at the end of the play. After the play is over, at the feet of Saron Black and Gary H. got into it. And now we'll check the call. Personal foul, roughing the passer against John Tyler. That's the second time, and that time I'm not sure who it was. Brian Culp, by the way, had a lead block on Terrence Coleman to kind of give Josh some time, and that's 15. And JT now, the one thing the Lions cannot afford to do is lose their composure here.
Now they're in the game still, but their backs are against the wall, really, as Lee is looking to cash in again off of the miscue on the kickoff. And it's only their third penalty all night, but two of them have been roughing the passer.
Well, one of them, remember, at the end of the first half that kind of helped the drive continue, and that one there giving Robert E. Lee the ball 1st and 10 at the John Tyler 21-yard line. And Tyler Fleet had to turn a little bit for that pass, but he should have caught it. Offset eye, Peyton Price. Up back, his T.Y. bounces outside at the 10, inside the 10, down to the 5, and knocked out of bounds by the middle linebacker. The Torrey Irvin attack continues for JT with a nifty run on a lead block from Peyton Price, and T.Y. picks up 15 yards.
Yeah, Peyton just falls behind a nice block from Sam Banks, and also Brian Culp pushing back on Whitaker, and they open up a nice hole, and T.Y. uses that great vision to break outside for a nice gain.
Time of possession, remember, to start this game was all JT. It's starting to lean a little bit on the red and white, and JT starting to have players getting hurt on almost every play. Kerry Maddox, who's had a big factor, big part of this game, limping off the field, and JT starting to have a lot of players leaning over. As remember, they're very low on numbers. They're big on their heart tonight, as they have given Lee some problems in the first half, but Lee starting to wear them down a little bit with under 7 minutes to go in the third quarter, up by 21. Jason Williams now the deep back with Peyton Price and T.Y. on the H-back right side. Left side, this is T.Y. bounces outside. Lead block by Fleet. Not enough as he's knocked out at the 5. Torrey Irvin again. Sam Banks a lead block as well. T.Y. gets a yard at 2nd down and goal from the 5.
Well, he had help too. Number 33 was also there for John Tyler, David. That's Vincent Pinckney in the ball game, and he helped stretch the play out as well. And they're just not giving in to Tyrone Ross. They're not going to let him get in the end zone if they can't help it.
Well, they've done a great job of it. T.Y. is a very tough 62 yards on 16 carries. The 1 touchdown, remember, he barely got in to start the scoring in this game. 6:18 to go. 28-7 Lee. Full house backfield. T.Y. dots the end of it. Here's T.Y. up the gut, down to the goal line. Touchdown! And Tyrone Ross, with that touchdown, has just become Robert E. Lee's all-time leading career leader in touchdowns with 43 on the 5-yard run. He now is the all-time leading rusher, breaking Derek Farmer's record, and now the all-time leader for touchdowns in a career, breaking the record set by Derek and Keandre Smith. He has 43.
They get him just a good push inside from Sam Banks, and he opens a nice hole, and T.Y. falls right behind his left guard for 6.
6:08 to go, third quarter. 34-7. Giles with the snap. Hill with the hold. The kick by Skates is good, and our score. It is Robert E. Lee 35, John Tyler 7. We're back in 1 minute on News Talk 600 KTBB.
Here's a question. If you needed your insurance, who would you call? Not the name of the company, but the name of the person. You've got 2 seconds. Coming up blank, you may want to consider Allstate. You'd have a local agent you can count on, a licensed professional whose name you know, not just a number. You deserve a relationship with a real person.
For all your insurance needs, call the McIntyre Insurance Agency in the Albertson Shopping Center.
Men, I think our racing team needs to reflect our Supercut sponsorship. So, make some changes. First off, we're going to go to clear helmets so racing fans can see your fine Supercut hair.
Those are made out of glass.
Y'all be careful. Second, uniform change.
How are we supposed to drive? There's no armholes.
I haven't figured that one out yet, but we're working on that.
Man, I'm out of here.
Fellas,
you're out of your mind. That's not
where are you going?
Supercuts, proud sponsor of Fitz Bradshaw Racing.
Can you drive a stick?
Hello, my name is George Faber, and I'm the Visual and Performing Arts Director for TISD. It is my pleasure to serve as the administrator of many fine award-winning programs in our district from kindergarten through high school, as well as work with many highly qualified teachers. Our main goal is to help students receive a well-rounded education of mind, body, and soul to promote the integration of arts into math, science, reading, English, and social studies. You're watching TISD football on Cox.
Back at Trinity Mother Frances Rose Stadium, we get a note from Steve Rhodes, who has called Justin Brinker in our studio, and apparently there could be some severe weather coming our way. And Craig Smoke telling me on the sideline that he could start to feel the wind pick up, and there could be some severe weather on the way here, and we'll try to keep you updated as soon as we can. 35-7, Micah Johnson set to kick off for Robert E. Lee from his 40. Very high this time, and also deep, and this is JT at about the 5. 10-15, Kendall Hunter to about the 18-yard line. Lance Heap on the stop for Robert E. Lee, who's played very well. And Kendall Hunter has had a frustrating night. Justin Simmons there as well for Lee on the kickoff coverage. But now JT, Randy, desperately needing some sort of time-consuming drive. Needing points, obviously, but just needing some first downs as Lee's taken over this game.
Well, here we are right at the middle of the third quarter, and Lee goes 4 plays, 31 yards in 1 minute and 4 seconds, with Tyron Ross getting the now school-leading touchdown from 5 yards out.
43 touchdowns in his career, with still 2 games to go in the regular season, plus a quarter and a half here. And who knows about the postseason? Lee still has some work to do on that. Here's Kendall. Nope, that's Torrey Irvin, and not much there as the lead defense starting to take control. They had the 180-yard drive. That was Shackelford, I think, on the stop, but he got nothing. McKenzie and also Cordero Mumphrey were there for Robert E. Lee. Randy, they had the 180-yard drive, but quite frankly, other than that, that's been all their offense.
Well, really, and they had 97 total yards and 80 of it on one drive, and Lee came through in the second quarter and had several big stops in the interception by Mitchell to help stave off the line movement.
Tight end near side right hash, JT going against the wind. Deep handoff to Hunter. He will not get to the line of scrimmage. Jason Stripling blows that up before he gets to the 18-yard line and loses a yard or two. Although he gets a tremendous mark on the far side, he did lose about a yard. Mumphrey and McKenzie, and the JT front line has taken over the game on the defensive end of it.
Well, true, and Lee, what they've done too, David, is they're going to dare John Tyler to throw the ball. And really, since their early first quarter success on their initial drive that they scored, actually their second drive that they scored on, Lee has really bottled them up and done an excellent job of containment.
Well, they say he got back to the line of scrimmage, which Jason Stripling looked like he hit him a couple of yards deep, so give Kendall Hunter great credit for some extra yardage there. Offset eye, 3rd down and 10. Bush, straight drop. Now wants to scramble. Little juke. Goes nowhere. Got a couple of yards. Jason Stripling again, and Cordero Mumphrey. Also Gabriel Lacey and Cole skates there, and Lee's defense forces JT 3 and out. And you got to wonder if JT started to become somewhat demoralized here as it's 35-7. Craig Smoke on the sideline.
Yeah, you mentioned that in the beginning of the game. John Tyler's fans, I mean, no blame to them or anything, but I mean, with Lee shellacking them now 35-7, I mean, it's kind of hard for them to get into it, but you do get a sense that John Tyler's kind of walking around with their heads down a little bit.
Well, the fans were surely into it after that fumbled punt return, or muff as it was, by Tony Bush, and they were very vocal in the first half, but they have gotten a little bit quiet. And a nice, pretty decent crowd. Obviously not nearly what JT used to draw for this game, and quite frankly not that much from the Lee side compared to normal either. High punt, hits in JT territory, and now bounces down close to the Lee 40-yard line. That's about a 20-yard bounce. Pretty good punt in the long run from Terrence Garman. 39 yards to the Lee 40-yard line. 3:32 to go third quarter. Hey, don't forget, after the game, we'll pick our John Tyler and Robert E. Lee Dusty Rhodes Marine player of the game. And in their name, they get a $50 gift certificate donated to the KTBB Scholastic All-Stars program, which we give at the end of each year, a banquet, Randy, for 22 incredibly gifted student athletes from over 100 high schools around the East Texas area. Josh Hill, the quarterback, at the 41-yard line, straight eye formation. This is Jason Williams, gets the big gap midfield, twists and turns. Oh, what a move. Still going. That is the future running game at Robert E. Lee as he goes down inside the 20 for a gain of 34 yards for Jason Williams down to the JT 26-yard line. Terrence Coleman hustles downfield to make the stop. What a move.
It was a fantastic move. It was a great hole open right by Sam Banks in the middle of the lead line, and Banks is lipping towards the sideline, David, but a spectacular spinning move, a 360 by Jason Williams, keeping his footing, and the crowd went ooh and ah on a beautiful run from Jason Williams.
To keep his balance, by the way, was one thing. To make the move and then keep his balance, and he almost did it again. By the way, Sam Banks hustles off, limps off, and Ryan Davenport comes in, and now they'll move Christian to left guard. Josh Hill, wing back reverse. Peyton Price at the 15, breaks a tackle, 10, fumbles the football. And John Tyler's Torrey Irvin recovers at the 5. Peyton Price busts down for a gain of about 21 yards, but hit at the 5-yard line, and Torrey Irvin recovers for John Tyler at the 5-yard line after the long run.
Well, give credit to A.J. Johnson, too. He was there to help wrap up, and he might have been the one to knock the ball loose, but Irvin is there to pounce on it as John Tyler alertly makes a big play. But I tell you what, Peyton Price is running with so much authority. He broke a couple more tackles on that run.
Peyton Price tonight, 8 carries in a game where you've got Kendall Hunter, Tyrone Ross, and Jason Williams. Peyton Price has 8 carries for 129 yards, the fumble, plus the 40-yard touchdown that gave Lee the lead. 2:48 to go, third quarter. Antoine Bush with Kendall Hunter in the backfield. Right behind him is Shackelford. Hunter is in the end zone. Bush pitch back deep to Hunter, nothing there, and oh, what a nice tackle on the outside. And is that a safety? No. Justin Hansen, the safety for Lee, knocks Hunter down at the 1-yard line, a loss of 4. And by the way, remember the fumble at the end of last week's game against North Mesquite that was ruled the man was down. Coach Owens told me there's no question they forced the fumble. Justin Hansen was upset he didn't get the call. He gets the big play there, a loss of 4.
Well, they've got him at the safety spot. He'll be one of the starters next year back there, probably with Cuba. But he comes up and does a great job in run support. And as soon as Hunter goes to turn the corner, number 22 is there to wrap him up.
We'll update the rest at 12:05. There's only one other game tonight. North Mesquite beat Rockwall last night 21-7. We'll get you that Mesquite Horn score. It was 21-0 second quarter, Mesquite earlier. Second down, 13 JT. Kendall Hunter is in the back of the end zone. This is Antoine to the fullback, not much there. As Lee's defensive front 3, and actually they run really a 3-man front, but Randy, it's much more than that because they have safeties who come up. Mitchell was there, Jeremy Moore was there, Nick Mitchell, Adrian Beard, Justin Simmons. And that time there's just no room to run for the fullback.
Well, it's more like a 3-5-2, if you will, which is real popular now. You get a lot more speed and athleticism on the field, and Lee does that.
So Williams gets nothing. Right now, John Tyler has 26 yards rushing in this game with under 2 minutes to go in the third quarter, down by 28. Bush from the 1, Johnson the center. Bush runs the option outside, tries to get wide, does turn the corner, and wrapped out by Nick Mitchell again at the 9 or the 5-yard line. To Carey and Cuba and Beard were there. Antoine, though, does give Terrence Garman some room, and Craig, the pursuit of the lead defense has really shown quite a bit in this third quarter.
Oh, yeah, Lee's defense has definitely stepped it up a notch. You see guys all over the place, Beard, Nicholson, Wilson, Simmons. I mean, it seems like every player for Lee's probably got a couple tackles in this quarter. I mean, they're just everywhere like a pack of dogs.
Well, and that's the kind of pursuit that Jay Law and the defensive coordinator, Randy Huffstickler, said they were not seeing enough of from most of this year. We saw it last week when they played North Mesquite. Under 30 seconds to go, third quarter. High snap to Garman. He picks it up, and it's blocked by Stripling. And that could be a safety. That thing came out like a pitching wedge, and then Jason Stripling ran into Garman, blocked the punt, and this should be a safety, and it is. Jason Stripling gets the blocked punt, and Lee has blocked 2 punts that you and I have seen. Both have led to safety.
Yes, the one last year at A&M Consolidated, they did that one there, and it helped spur them on to a shutout victory. And that one, really, Stripling's been on 3 or 4 times where he could have blocked it and pulled off, but that time he saw the high snap, and it was a lollipop back there to Garman. He really did his very best to get it off, and it's blocked, and Lee picks up 2 more points.
I'm not sure. Kelvin Ratliff is trying to get an explanation from the head linesman Rip Drumgoole, because I think what he thinks, and actually the best thing for JT right there is the safety, because otherwise Lee would have the football at the
2-yard line.
Yeah.
The ball never crossed out. It went right out the side of the end zone and never hit the field of play.
Craig, did you get a pretty good angle of where that thing came out?
I mean, the kicker for John Tyler, he was stepping up on his tippy toes to actually not come down out of bounds. Stripling ran into him a little bit, but was able to get his hands on the ball, and it just popped up in the air out of bounds. But one thing I've noticed all night is that JT on their punts, their deep snappers kind of just throwing a little bit of a balloon almost up there, never really just deep snapping it straight to the punter. And that time Lee just finally decided to put a little bit of a rush on. We're successful.
37-7 is the score. And Robert E. Lee is blown open what at one time was a 7-6 John Tyler lead. Hey, don't forget, you can watch tonight's game and hear our broadcast on Cox Communications, channels 18 and 62, on Monday night and Wednesday night at 7 o'clock. Anytime JT or Lee play at home, their games will be rebroadcast with our broadcast audio and glow-in-the-dark productions and their video, thanks to the good guys that handle all of their video. And Terrence Garman, who just had that punt block, will kick off now for JT after the safety at the 20-yard line. It's kind of like a kickoff return, and they kick it deep to Tony Bush, who will field it at the 27. Look for 30, 40, 45, 50 in the JT territory at the 43-yard line. So even though Peyton Price fumbled the football at the 5 on the nice run, it still led to points for Robert E. Lee because of the bad field position. Kerry Maddox with an umpteenth tackle for John Tyler.
What Lee's done defensively, David, they've had 5 straight John Tyler possessions, starting with a Nick Mitchell interception where it's been 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, and the Lee offense has responded by scoring, and so the score is elevated, and Lee's just right now is taking over the ball game since midway second quarter.
10 seconds to go, third quarter. 37-7. Robert E. Lee and Preston Hill, the junior, is in at quarterback. This is Jason Williams on a cross buck, and he doesn't get anything. Lost a yard back to the 45. And D'Angelo Jones is back in, first time in 3 weeks. And that ends the third quarter with our score. Robert E. Lee 37, John Tyler 7, and we're back in 60 seconds on KTBB and ESPN 1490.
Okay, we'd like you to try 2 frozen lattes. One is from a national chain of coffee shops, and the other is new from Dairy Queen.
This one's fantastic.
Looks like you chose the new DQ Latte. Great. Okay, you can give it back now.
Test is over. Let go.
The new DQ Mulatte frozen blended coffee, made with creamy DQ soft serve in 3 tempting flavors. Grab one and DQ something different.
Likes it a lot.
Education is a priority in Tyler. With new growth and increasing student enrollment, the Tyler Independent School District studied the condition of its facilities. Focusing on the most critical needs first, the district's Board of Trustees voted unanimously to call for a bond election for a portion of these needs. The election affecting the children of Tyler is November 2nd. Visit www.tylerisd.org and click on Bond 2004 or call 903-262-1064.
Man, are we going to take every lap full speed? Yeah! Are we going to trade paint without fear? Yeah! Are we going to brush our hair 100 times a day and condition after every shampoo and choose the right hair color to match our skin tone? Tim?
Terry, I'm an autumn.
I'm a spring. Now let's go out there and win one!
Supercuts, proud sponsor of Fitz Bradshaw Racing.
Again, we play a district 17 up on Monday night.
Preston Hill in the pocket, throws sideline pass. D'Angelo Jones tipped away, and a great effort by Ben Roberts, who came over. No, that's not Roberts. That is, again, number 10. Roderick Taylor, the junior, intended for D'Angelo Jones, and a very nice job of tipping that thing away, and it's now third down and about 11 for Lee at the 45-yard line.
The offensive line gives a nice bit of protection that time to Preston Hill, giving him plenty of time to throw the curl out pattern to Jones, but John Tyler really is playing their heart out, David. They've come to play, and just being undermanned, they've not been able to make the big plays they've needed to.
And Lee has flexed their muscles in that second and third quarter when they had to. Offset eye. Williams is the deep back, and Preston Hill, the quarterback, has a man wide open, caught by Giles. Could have gone to D'Angelo Jones, and John Giles having a career night down to the 21. Boy, D'Angelo Jones was wide open on the deep flag pattern. Roderick Taylor on the stop, gain of 24 yards for Robert E. Lee and a first down.
Well, they are able to hit the pass plays because of the execution and the scheme once again. And Preston Hill finds he has two receivers right there, one a little bit further downfield than D'Angelo Jones, but he comes back to the inside receiver, Josh Giles, for a nice pickup.
John Giles now has 4 catches for 42 yards. There will be blizzards galore. First and 10 at the 21. Offset eye, Williams the deep back. This is Preston to Jason. Bounces it outside, makes the first man miss, but a nice job and a flag down. Terrence Coleman was there. Williams still kind of struggling for more, but there's a flag from the head linesman, has been the busiest of the crew in this game. And this could be a holding call on the outset. Holding against Robert E. Lee. Boy, Lee sure doesn't have much success on the far side of the field. Ryan Davenport was involved maybe in that holding call.
And you know, it's almost always on that pulling guard going outside, or so it seems. When he gets outside, he cuts back and gets a hold of a linebacker or a safety coming in to make the tackle.
Mesquite High School, who comes here next week to play Robert E. Lee, hammering Horn with 6 minutes to go in that game in the 12-5A matchup, 35-14. And that sets up a heck of a showdown between Mesquite and Lee, who have a history with 3 playoff appearances. First down at the 29. Bad snap, he picks it up anyway. Preston Hill to Peyton Price, turns the corner, will score. Touchdown, 29 yards. Peyton Price scores again, and he looped around after he made the catch on a Preston Hill dart. And Robert E. Lee has scored more points in this game against John Tyler than at any time in the 49-game history of the series.
Wow, Peyton Price just makes it look easy. He beats the coverage. He's a couple yards inside of him, makes the catch, and then just puts one great move, just setting down the cornerback, and he spins right around him and gets in the end zone for another touchdown tonight for Peyton Price's second.
Josh Hill, normally Cole Skates does the extra points. This is Josh Hill, who's also kicked this year. Preston, who just threw the touchdown with a hold. The kick by Hill is up and good. 10 minutes, 54 seconds to go in the game. It is 44-7. Robert E. Lee. We're back in 60 seconds.
Here's a question. If you needed your insurance, who would you call? Not the name of the company, but the name of the person. You've got 2 seconds. Coming up blank, you may want to consider Allstate. You'd have a local agent you can count on, a licensed professional whose name you know, not just a number. You deserve a relationship with a real person.
For all your insurance needs, call the McIntyre Insurance Agency in the Albertson Shopping Center.
In the game of life, there are no timeouts, only time wasted. The path you choose now determines your future. But where can you go to find a sense of purpose? There is a place where team spirit steps off the field and into the classroom, where no victory goes unnoticed, and there's no such thing as wasted time. That place is Tyler Junior College, living life in color, never black and white. Come to Tyler Junior College. We're changing the game. We're changing lives.
I'm Vicki Neal. I'm the very proud principal at Rice Elementary. I'm a graduate of TISD. I went through Ramey Elementary, Belford Junior High School, and graduated from John Tyler High School, and I have been with TISD almost forever. You're watching TISD Athletics on Cox.
10:54 to go, fourth quarter. It is 44-7. Robert E. Lee, the most points that Lee had ever scored in a game against John Tyler happened back in 1993 when it was 36-7, and they are now up 44-7 here. Here's Micah Johnson kicking off for Lee from his 40, and they squib it straight out of bounds. As they keep it away from Kendall Hunter, and a little flashback, and that thing's going to be a penalty against Robert E. Lee. JT can either take it at the 28 or get better field position. The first time that Mike Owens was a part of the Lee JT series, Alan Wilson and his JT Lions were as probably elite team as there was in the state of Texas, Randy. They had won the state title in '94. They had some unbelievable teams, and they beat Robert E. Lee badly, 55-7. The following year, 42-7. Then the series really tightened up with the double overtime thriller here at Trinity Mother Frances Rowe Stadium. And
it's big role reversal, really. David, 5 plays, 45 yards, and a $125 for Lee's touchdown, with Price getting the pass from 29 yards out from Preston here.
Just a little over a minute into the fourth quarter. Antoine Bush rolls right, pressured by Ray, pass caught, nice grab. What a great effort on the sideline by 42, and that is the fullback, Neil Williams, who's just a sophomore among one of the many underclassmen, a gain of 11 and a first down.
A beautiful execution as Bush is rolling out. He just finds his receiver cutting back out, and he throws it right in among 3 or 4 red shirts, too, and a sprawling diving catch for Williams for a first down.
First completion of the second half for John Tyler at their 41-yard line. 10:28, clock runs. In the slot, Kendall Hunter. Antoine, wingback reverse to Kendall, cuts it up, has about 6-7 yards. Bo Bambry, I believe, in the stop for Robert E. Lee, the middle linebacker. Nick McLean will check in. What a nice run. The best run of the night for Kendall Hunter, and a gain of 7 yards out to the 48-yard line.
That's a tribute to Lee's defense, really keeping him at bay, David, with his speed and over 700 yards coming into the game. Lee's done a very good job of holding Kendall Hunter at bay.
Justin Simmons looks like he may have hurt his arm, and James Wilson checks in at left defensive end. JT on the move at midfield. Hunter breaks a tackle into the secondary, breaks another one, down to the 45-yard line, and a gain of 8 more for Kendall Hunter, who now has 14 carries for 14 yards in this game.
He just does a great job of keeping his legs moving. He hits off the right side and spins outside and breaks 2 or 3 arm tackles from would-be tacklers for Robert E. Lee, and does a great job of picking up a nice gain for John Tyler.
Got to keep the guys behind me in the booth focused. Now James Wilson, who just came in for Justin Simmons, who came off with what looked like an arm injury, comes off limping. 1st and 10, John Tyler at the Lee 45. Nice looking drive here. Split receiver is Brown up the gut. That is Williams for about 3 or 4, maybe 3. Bo Bambry was there. Trevor Reed, Matt Uzel also in the game. McLean comes out. Mumphrey comes out. Colby Ray, 36, was there. As Lee's gone to a lot of backup players, especially in the front 7. Adrian Beard and Jeremy Moore. Hanson and Cuba are the safeties.
All these guys getting great playing time as they did early in the season. With a blowout or 2 early on, they're getting some more action tonight, too.
8:40 to go. Antoine Bush, the quarterback, with a straight eye behind him. Hunter tips the eye. Bush runs the option, spits it out to Hunter, trying to get around the corner, and he does, but knocked out of bounds at the 38-yard line. Sherfield was there initially, and then Nick Mitchell, I think, knocked him out of bounds along with Uzel, and a gain of about 8 yards, Randy. And boy, when he does turn the corner, he has been a bright spot for this JT offense.
Well, he just shows his great speed. It's probably sub 4.4, 4.5 area. He gets a nice pitch, and Bush unloads it just as he gets rifled by Bo Bambry, and getting outside for containment for Lee. 3 or 4 red shirts there to wrap up the tackle.
He has not been a bright spot tonight because Lee has been like all over it. But he's had a nice couple of carries here in the fourth quarter. Under 8 minutes to go. Straight eye at the 37. Fumble snap. Antoine dances around, trying to get around the corner. Uzel's got him hemmed in and knocks him out of bounds for basically no gain, along with Jeremy Moore, the cornerback, also involved in the tackle.
Uzel just does a fantastic job. He stays right in front of Bush, who's trying to just juke his way around him, but Bush decides he can't do that, strings the plate off to the near side of the field where 3 or 4 other red shirts are there with Uzel to wrap him up.
7 minutes and 44 seconds remaining, and they continue the clock. I saw Randy Poole, who works for TISD, former JT coach, talk to Gene Malloy, the official, the referee, during the kickoff break, and they know about the severe weather that could be on their way, and they wind it even though he was out of bounds. 4th down, Bush fullback Williams, I don't know. It depends on the mark. He needed the 35, and it looks like he's right at the 35, which would be a first down to continue this drive.
Just a straight handoff up the middle. John Tyler's line gets a good push from A.J. Johnson and Davare Jackson as well, and they do get that first down, David.
Davare Jackson. And you look at JT, 2 of their 5 starters on the offensive line come back next year, including the mammoth A.J. Johnson. A.J. just has to make sure he wants to play football every day. They've got the sophomore Franklin at 325. Darrell Allen will be the quarterback. In the slot is Rashad Brown. Here's Antoine, play action. Throwing deep, he's got a man open. Caught, touchdown. Oh, he dropped it.
Oh.
And that is Brown, who was in the slot. He had beaten the cornerback that time, Adrian Beard. Antoine got it close to him, but he dropped it, and it's now third down.
I think he took his eye off of it for a split second and hit his knee or thigh pad as he's racing to get right under it. Bush laid it out where only his receiver could get to the ball, and John Tyler just not getting that kind of break they need to cross the plane of the end zone again.
6:50 remaining. JT next week goes to Rockwall. Robert E. Lee with the 3rd consecutive home game after a brutal stretch on the road with games at Lufkin, at Trinity, and also, of course, the game at Longview that they lost in overtime. 2nd down and 10. Arps to the far side. He's been held in check in the second half. Straight eye. Antoine Bush, the senior, rolls to the far side, sets up, going deep to Arps. He's open, caught it inside the 10. 1st and goal, Robert E. Lee on a nice 33-yard catch from Antoine Bush to Charles Arps.
And Arps had beaten the defender down to the corner of the field, Adrian Beard. He just turns out plenty of time as protection was there for Antoine Bush making the catch, and John Tyler has a player down, David.
JT with a player. They can't afford any injuries, obviously, but they do have a player down. We'll take a break. 6:36 to go. Arps, after the play, is down, and what a game he has had. He has 5 catches for 86 yards, and JT's lone score. We're back in 30 seconds.
To see this sign on your house, put this sign out front. Century 21 Advantage. Call or visit our website.
JT knocking on Lee's door after the first down inside the Lee 10. Matt Uzel on the stop as they give it to the fullback, and Bo Bambry was there as well. Williams, though, that was actually Torrey Irvin, who might have lost a half a foot. Under 6 minutes to go at the next snap.
Well, John Tyler's had their 2nd big march of the game, and they've done it against a lot of the backups for Lee. Nonetheless, John Tyler is executing on this drive, David.
So now, with a lot of folks starting to thin out on both sides of the field, JT trying to get another sniff of that end zone. They got the sniff. Now they want to get in it. Irvin on the slot, left side. Bush, Hunter, inside the 5, down to the 1. Very close to the goal line. Takari and Cuba. And Bambry there for Robert E. Lee, and Kendall Hunter picks up about 5 down to the 1.
Well, he gets a nice surge right behind A.J. Johnson and Chris Burns to the left side. They blow up a nice little hole, and he almost gets to pay dirt, but Lee stops him just short.
5 minutes, 20 seconds remaining. First time since 1970 that Robert E. Lee and John Tyler have met when the game was not the last game of the year.
Amazing.
Bush, Irvin, touchdown. No signal yet. Still no signal. Now there is. He plows under the left guard that time. Burns, touchdown, John Tyler with 5:01 to go. It's now 44-13 Robert E. Lee.
And just a nice surge once again from the John Tyler offensive line interior. They get a good push and a big score for Irvin, I believe, again, for 6 for John Tyler.
Here comes the extra point from Ethan Colburn. 5:01 to go, 4th quarter. JT will first huddle. And now they could be looking for a player to come from the sideline. Boy, the special teams mistakes. They have to take a timeout as the play clock was down to 3. It's 44-13, Robert E. Lee, and we're back in 60 seconds on News Talk 600 KTBB.
Okay, we'd like you to try 2 frozen lattes. One is from a national chain of coffee shops, and the other is new from Dairy Queen.
This one's fantastic.
Looks like you chose the new DQ Mulate. Great. Okay, you can give it back now.
Test is over. Let it go.
The new DQ Mulate frozen blended coffee, made with creamy DQ soft serve in 3 tempting flavors. Grab one and DQ something different.
Likes it a lot.
JT going for 2. Antoine Bush pass knocked down in the back of the end zone by Irvin. Caught the ball, but the flag comes down, and this may be coming back. Boy, Torrey Irvin.
He's a warrior. He's played one great game tonight.
I talked to him after the game against Port Arthur Memorial. There was an illegal procedure called against John Tyler. I think I saw that flag go up, and I thought it was the football for some reason. That was weird. As they found Irvin. Irvin plays middle linebacker and fullback, which is usually what you do. If you play middle linebacker, you also play fullback. If you do go both ways. I talked to him after the Memorial game, which is a huge win for JT earlier this year, 21-13. And that guy was dripping wet. He was as soaked as you could be as a body because he had played every second of that game. JT had a lot of guys going both ways, and they eventually just said, listen, we can't do that. We're going to kill each other. Straight eye, they'll still go for 2 from now the 8-yard line. Bush, the quarterback. Play action, pressured by Osborne, and Lacey, and he runs out of bounds and just throws the ball down. That time it was big 66. Gabriel Lacey was in his back pocket along with Uzel, and the 2-point conversion fails. 44-13. Robert E. Lee by 31. We're back in 1 minute on KTBB and ESPN.
Men, I think our racing team needs to reflect our Supercut sponsorship. So, make some changes. First off, we're going to go to clear helmets so racing fans can see your fine Supercut hair.
Those are made out of glass.
Y'all be careful. Second, uniform change.
How are we supposed to drive? There's no armholes.
I haven't figured that one out yet, but we're working on that.
And I'm out of here.
Fellas,
you're out of your mind. That's not
where are you going?
Supercuts, proud sponsor of Fitz Bradshaw Racing.
Can you drive a stick?
Hello, my name is Donna Duncan. I am a teacher at Robert E. Lee High School. I teach English 3 and English 4 and am Dean of the School of Government Law and Communication. I have taught and worked for TISD for 27 years, and you're watching TISD football on Cox.
JT trying to set up what most likely will be an onside kick after they score. 5:01 to go. They missed the 2-point conversion. 44-13 Robert E. Lee.
John Tyler scoring drive, David. 11 plays, 75 yards, and 547 as they do a great job of mixing up the run and the pass with quarterback Bush leading the way for 6 from Torrey Irvin.
Colburn, Ethan Colburn, the sophomore. Our players of the game brought to you by Dusty Rhodes Marine. Dusty Rhodes Marine, your authorized tracker dealer in East Texas. Highway 155 South in Tyler, and also Highway 69 in Lufkin, thanks to Dusty and Steve and Mike and others. For John Tyler, the player of the game is wide receiver Charles Arps, who has 5 catches so far for 86 yards and a touchdown. And Robert E. Lee's player of the game is tight end John Giles, who scored twice tonight, 2 touchdown receptions. Last week it was Peyton Price. Kendall Hunter for JT. This is Colburn. Kicks it down inside the 5 and will run out of bounds, and that'll be a flag. Tyrone Ross a couple of weeks ago, as both JT and Lee are players of the game, brought to you by Dusty Rhodes Marine. Dusty Rhodes Marine, appreciate $50 in the names of the players tonight to the KTBB Scholastic All-Stars program. Great student athletes we honor at the end of the school year with a banquet in May. Ball kicked out of bounds as a basically an illegal procedure call, and Lee will get the ball at their own 30-yard line.
Yeah, that's 4 now weeks in a row we've had this program, David. Ross was the first one, Stripling at Longview, Price last week for the win on North Mesquite, and Giles tonight.
Kendall Hunter for JT has been their player of the week. I think Torrey Irvin was the other, and then tonight it is Charles Arps, the wide receiver. Preston Hill, bootleg, throws the ball downfield. Almost intercepted by number 10, Roderick Taylor, who at the end of the play goes down as well. He landed very funny on his leg, and boy, I hope he's going to be okay, as that thing hung in the air quite a bit, intended for D'Angelo Jones. And there's a JT player, and that is Roderick Hunter, the junior, who's made 2 nice plays at that safety position in this game on passes just like that.
Yeah, he left up right in front of the intended receiver and just stepped up, and I believe he came down real funny on his ankle, David, and hits the ground right at midfield. He got in the way of the intended receiver and enabled him from making the catch.
4 minutes and 53 seconds to go in this game, and hopefully Roderick Taylor is okay. JT's had a couple of players who have gone down here, and Lee also had a couple of defensive ends, Simmons and James Wilson, who were a little bit dinged up, and Roderick Taylor comes to his feet.
It's good news that he's going to walk off on his own power. Of course, they lost Eric Ejiki early in the ball game too. He's standing on his feet right now off of the sprained ankle or thereabouts that he had, David. And he's standing on his own too, so maybe we'll see him back next week for Lee.
Yeah,
Eric
he probably just came back. Yeah, exactly. And I think Taylor just came down funny, and I was worried about the way he came down on his heel, because you never know that force that can create some problems. So now Lee will have 2nd down and 10 from their 30-yard line, leading 44-13. Most points that Lee has ever scored in this rivalry before tonight was 36. This is Preston Hill, off left tackle, gain of about 4 to 5 yards out to the 36-yard line, and that is Tucker. That is a junior varsity player who was brought up tonight for this game because Brad Royal missing the game with that knee contusion. Nathan Tucker, a 5'10", 185-pound sophomore, has just picked up the first 6 yards of his varsity career.
Makes a nice run to do that too, and it's good to get these young kids out and get them a little playing experience as well late in ball games.
So now under 4:15 remaining, 44-13, Lee up by 31. Double tight set. This is Tucker up the middle, breaks a tackle, 40, outside, first down, 44, and the running back arsenal continues in the gain of 8.
He just makes a nice move, gets a nice block up front too from a myriad of new players in the game. We'll have to get the count on those, David, but nice block up front. Tucker finds a hole and gets out on another Lee first down.
Well, most of them are still guys that Lee has. Remember, they have about 8 players they go with in the offensive line. Justin Watts is checked in at one of the receivers positions, but Andrew Bailey, the junior center, will snap it to Preston Hill at the 45, and this is a stretch play to Tucker. He's not going to get anything here as he loses 3 yards. JT's defense goes down fighting. Number 41 on the stop that time. That is Cedric Whitaker, who did not start tonight because of the injury that he had.
Of course, Torrey Irvin is still in the field too. Probably has logged every play pretty much on both sides of the ball. He was there to help backside help with the Whitaker to wrap up on Tucker.
Well, there's a showdown next week for second place in District 12-5A that's right here. Mesquite has beaten Horn High School 35-14. Lee on their way to a win here, and because of that, those two teams will be 3-1 in district play as they meet next week.
And it will be for second place. The winner will be the second place. Not that it matters, but Lee will be the big entrant into the playoffs should they win next week.
So, yeah, because if Rockwall's not in it, that means Lee has to be the Division I school. Here's Tucker again as Lee's trying to run out the clock here, and he loses another yard. JT defensively, H and Burns and Coleman lost a yard, 3rd down, 13, under 3 minutes to go. And Mesquite, a team that was 0-6 I think, at one point,
0-5 before they won their first game. They lost their 5th game to Longview, which was their first district game, and then they came back the next week and took out North Mesquite, which was kind of a surprise, we all thought at the time.
34-19.
Right. That was their first big win of the season.
Then they beat John Tyler 21-13 in a game they trailed by 13-0 at halftime, and they rallied. So they are usually a team that doesn't care much about their non-district record. They play some good people. Hill on 3rd down, swing pass. That is Mason for about 3 or 4, driven out of bounds by Torrey Irvin. Gain of about 5 out to the 46-yard line, and that brings up a punt situation for Robert E. Lee.
It'll be their first of the second half, as they pretty much have had their way, other than the fumble on their third possession of the second half, the fumble by Price. They've scored now 3 of their 5 possessions in the second half have the Robert E. Lee Red Raiders.
Preston Hill 3 of 4 tonight for 59 yards. His brother Josh throws for 71, so Lee will end up with 130 yards passing. And they put up some pretty impressive numbers, about 275 or so rushing. So near 400, which is a little bit under their average per game of 448.7. Now Lee has a man come on, and now he has a man come off, and there's no flag. Snap hits the ground, Josh picks it up, and he turns it over anyway. Fair catch by Hunter at the 18-yard line. And I don't understand, the player came on and then came off 37 yards, and maybe they're just trying to keep the clock running because of some weather coming into the area. Josh Hill and Peyton Price, after the play was over, jawing with Gary Yates of JT as John Tyler takes over at their 18-yard line.
Just trying to get in a final shot or two over there from the other side. But number 33 ran on the field, and I believe they had all 11 they needed on the field, turned around and ran right back. He got a nice little sprint work out there, nonetheless, for Lee.
Well, first down and 10, John Tyler, and Antoine Bush, the young man over his 3 years as the quarterback at JT, has been hit a lot and keeps on getting up and has been hit a lot tonight as well. JT offensively has had a couple of sparks. Now here's Antoine in trouble. Now looks for a receiver, arps downfield, throws sideline incomplete, and there's a flag down, an illegal man downfield. Big number 66 for John Tyler, A.J. Johnson, is too far downfield, and this is going to be a 5-yard penalty. If Lee accepts it, it would be 2nd down and 10 if they don't.
Well, they just do a great job of coverage. Anybody who's in the game for Lee, they're so well taught in technique in their secondary. They pick up receivers coming across the field, and Cuba's covering down the field on number 1 Arps that time, and all Bush could do is throw the ball away.
So they will apparently, I would think, wave this off. Not sure, they might take it. Doesn't really matter at this point. And it's a 5-yard mark off against John Tyler. 5-yard penalty against the Lions. JT next week on the road against Rockwall. They're trying to break a long stretch where they have not won a district game. And, of course, they were in that meat grinder schedule for 2 years against Lufkin, Longview, and Lee twice a year. They're trying to get a win in district play. Rockwall might be the last chance they have to do that. 2nd down, Longview after that, by the way. Here's Antoine. Kendall Hunter tries to turn the corner. He gets nothing. Maybe a couple of yards. Number 68 for Robert E. Lee that time is Bobby Osborne. Was there at the bottom of the pile also is, I think, Bo Banbury. You know, that's Matt Uzel. 3rd down and 8.
Well, John Tyler, I believe, has now lost 16 consecutive district games going back 3 seasons. And I'm not sure if Coach Ratliff has ever won a district game. I don't
No,
think
because
he has.
his first district season was the double, schedule against Longview, Lufkin, and Lee twice in a row. So 0-6, 0-6, and now 0-4 right here. 3rd and 8, motion, left hash, Bush to Kendall Hunter, cuts it up. Oh, what a nice job on the tackle by, I think, Justin Simmons. Also Justin Hansen, and Justin Simmons with a very nice hit that turned Hunter around. It's 4th down and about 6.
Just great containment by Lee once again. He tries to roll outside. He makes contact. George Faber over there as well to help polish off the play for Robert E. Lee.
We'll start again to remind you that we have our Friday night high school football scoreboard show that comes up tonight at 10:30. Boy, this game has lasted forever. Justin, I didn't realize it's almost 10:30 now. And that's going to wrap it up. our final score. Kerry Ainsworth, thank you very much. Craig Smoke will get both Mike Owens and Kelvin Ratliff in a moment as our final score. Robert E. Lee 44, John Tyler 13, and we'll try to get some post-game remarks with both Mike Owens and Kelvin Ratliff as the two teams meet at midfield, and Lee has now run their winning streak over John Tyler to 8 consecutive games. 8 straight against John Tyler. Craig Smoke. We'll try to have a moment with Mike Owens and also with Kelvin Ratliff. Craig?
Coach Owens, in the first half, we discussed your team not really coming out here that focused, but how do you feel they came out and played the second half?
Oh, much better. They came out and executed a lot better, a little more focused, had their mind of what was going on, so it was a lot better, I think.
John Giles is a guy that plays a lot for this team and does a lot of things, but doesn't always have the big numbers like a guy like Tyrone Ross does. Talk about the way he played tonight and how big that impact it was for your ball club.
Talking about Giles? Yeah, Giles always does a great job. He's always out there blocking. You know, he's a guy we got to have to block, and he catches big passes. You know, so he does a lot of things for us, and probably should be doing some more. Probably should be getting him the ball a little more.
All right, you got a big game coming up against Mesquite, and I know you just want to enjoy the win right now, but going into this next week, you got a 2-game winning streak going. What's in the future for your team?
Well, we got to play Mesquite next Friday here, you know, which is good, and Mesquite's, you know, really come on and playing real well, you know, here lately, and so they're just kind of getting used to their new offense. They've got some great athletes over there, and so it'll be a tough game for us next Friday.
All right, appreciate it, Coach.
Thanks for watching High School Football. Presented by TISD and Cox Communications of Tyler. Brought to you by Dairy Queen and Supercuts. Also brought to you by these sponsors.
Okay, we'd like you to try 2 frozen lattes. One is from a national chain of coffee shops, and the other is new from Dairy Queen.
This one's fantastic.
Looks like you chose the new DQ Latte. Great. Okay, you can give it back now.
The test is over. Let it go.
The new DQ Mulatte frozen blended coffee, made with creamy DQ soft serve in 3 tempting flavors. Grab one and DQ something different.
Likes it a lot.